All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's showtime like Kareem Lakers. I make a masterpiece, seem basic. No Meek Millie, but I'm dream chasing. Took the shortcut like Anita Baker. I want the bright lights that you see in Vegas. I need a big house with like 3 basements. Drop an M on the whip, think I'm speed racing. Don't know if it's the Transformer or the Green Ranger. My nigga Mac got the beat banging. Young nigga selling crack as a teenager. Had fiends playing baseball out here free basing. Had me showing off the rings like a Freemason. My mama gone, but I keep pacing. Trying to keep it all together like I need braces. Family calling when they need favors. When I was broke, they was acting like complete strangers. All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. Rest in peace, the Nippy was the street savior. Got my credit right now, I need acres. Gotta turn your dirty money into clean paper. Trying to own a franchise without a key player. I go through hoes like I weave laces. Tree blazers, let they mama noodles be flavored. Meat takers that be acting like the sacred. You bust in, you would think they on their knees praying. Then I slide like a screensaver. When I'm done, make some scrambled eggs, cheese bacon. Then it's on to the next, I ain't a speed dater. Little bitch ain't gon' hear from me till weeks later. I don't see no things changing. Kids still dodging bullets like they seen Matrix. These young niggas really need saving, but OGs won't teach them that the street's dangerous. All my life I had to be patient. Like Meek Millie, I was dream chasing. Finger to the law when I see haters. Oh, the feeling when you tell your niggas we made it. Ooh, baby.
Yo, was good, man. We back, man. Back full in effect, live and direct, man, here on this Thursday morning. You feel me? Definitely here with it, man, for sure. Got a few things we want to cover throughout this out today, man, from last night, and some new stuff that developed as well within the sport of boxing this morning, man, for sure, man. So definitely want to salute to my family in the building that's here so far. And then we can get into some of this shit that we got today, man, because we got some stuff to talk about this morning for sure, man. Salute to my family, man. Ring Wild Boxing Podcast in the building, man. Salute to him. You heard him. He said, hit the thumbs up. Salute, man. Salute to my family. Make sure y'all subscribe to my family, Ring Wild Boxing Podcast as well, man. Definitely putting in that work, you feel me? And salute to my boy Trey Skills, man. What's good, my dog? What's popping, bro? What's popping, man? Yeah, man, we here with it this morning. My boy Savage Bo, my dog, man, Miami in the building, man. Salute to my brother, man. What's popping, brother? What's good, man? Yeah, man. Yeah, definitely, bro. I got some shit to talk about today, man. Last night's show was crazy yesterday. If y'all ain't watched the show last night, man, the show was crazy last night. You know what I mean? We covered a lot last night where, we talked about so much last night, bro. Real shit. And some of the shit that I talked about last night, I'm going to talk about today too, as well. So, like, we talked about, Tank versus possibly with Pitbull and Lamont Roach and Will Zepeda fight on the undercard and as well. Last night we talked about Rolly, Ryan, and Devin, of course, last night. Then, of course, we talked about the promotion award that's going on in boxing right now, which is a big promotion award right now going on in boxing currently. That's it's been going on for years, but it's going on even more crazier now. You know what I mean? So kind of trending in back into today, where like, of course, today, one of the biggest topics is, of course, Vergil Ortiz, viral tweet last night, saying that he's done with Golden Boy. We're going to get into that. Dana White, he got a new interview with IFL that we definitely going to react to for sure. And we're going to get into these 135 and 140 pound rankings too as well, man, for sure, man. So definitely, man, tap in with your boy. I'm going to go ahead and update y'all on some stuff that's going on within the sport that just dropped recent from this past night. So let me go and start off with Miss Alicia. Let's start off with Alicia. All right, so Alicia Baumgartner back in action, man. She's going to be back April 17th fighting Bo Me Rasheen. April 17th at the theater in Madison Square Garden in New York for MVP, man. So you got Alicia Baumgartner. I know y'all probably seen her. If y'all follow her on her socials, she been putting in some work, training and everything, staying ready and everything. So she got a fight locked in, man, where she going to be defending them straps April 17th. So we're going to get to see the Bomb back in action April 17th in New York at the theater in Madison Square Garden, man. And, right here, this, like I said, I know a lot of the conversations with Alicia Baumgartner would be about, her fighting Caroline Dubois in recent time, and which is, I'm with all of that smoke for both of them girls, definitely. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to see that fight, you know what I'm saying, in due time. But in particular, I said in recent time and too as well that I feel like MVP, they're building that fight. That's why, like, they're going to have these girls fight other women, you know what I mean? And they're going to build that fight like 1-2 fights down the line, and then they're going to pair them women up and, you know what I'm saying, and have them get it cracking soon. So, definitely, I definitely want to see that fight, though. If it was me, I would want to see it immediately. But, MVP, they going about it they business way. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I just got to call it how I see on how MVP moving with Caroline Dubois and Alicia Baumgartner right now. You know what I'm saying? They building the fight pretty much. They building the fight. You know what I mean? But they trying to build it into one of the biggest woman fight in boxing, which is I totally understand it. But a lot of people, we understand, we like, shit, when you had them fighting, another woman did another woman before they fight each other, you know what I'm saying? It's a possibility they may get beat. You know what I mean? So we got to have the reality of that too. So, you know what I mean? We'll see what's happening. Alicia Baumgartner back in action April 17th in New York. And this was a little different right here too. This right here. Of course, Nair Albright, man. Nair Albright coming off, fighting Frank Martin a couple of weeks ago on the Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios card. He's back in action May 30th. And let me end this fight. No op announced on who he's going to fight, but he's going to be fighting at the Prudential Center out there in Jersey and everything. May 30th. So you got Nair Albright coming off a fight 2 weeks, and he's back in action immediately. So I'm definitely curious to see who Nair Albright is going, who he going to, fight next. That's what I'm wondering. So we're going to probably take a look at it and see through the 140 pound rankings when we go over the rankings in a little bit, because I'm definitely curious of who Nair Albright is going to fight next for sure. You know what I mean? So Nair Albright back in action May 30th, and I'm rocking with it. I'm definitely rocking with it, man. That boy's staying active, man, and for sure. So let me see what's popping. Let me see who else in the building. My brother Dragon was popping. My brother was good, bro. My boy Drag. That's my guy, man. That's my guy, man. And my brother, man, Knockout, man, was popping, brother. Yeah, most definitely, brother. We in here. We definitely gonna work. We gonna work, man. I don't care who in the building. We gonna cook up for sure, man. We gonna work. So definitely, Nair Albright, like I mentioned, May 30th. And then I wanted to highlight too with ProBox, man. ProBox TV, them boys active over there, man. They be putting in work. I don't know if y'all watched this past card that they had this past weekend on Friday, but that card was fire, man. It was like the whole card was bangers on that card. But they active the whole month of March, where they got fights every week the whole month of March. You know, and one of the biggest fights, of course, you know, Lester Martinez. That's one of the biggest fights of the month of March. For, you know, ProBox TV, Lester Martinez back in action, fighting for that interim strap, for the WBC interim strap. So definitely tap in with ProBox TV, man. They got the card. Actually, that's Friday. That's Saturday. So they back in action Saturday. They got a card Saturday. Of course, they got the Zuffa card Sunday as well. So, you know, ProBox TV, man, they active, man. They definitely active, man. Definitely. I know D-Wood gonna love this shit, because, you know, D-Wood, he love ProBox. I love ProBox too, man. I miss ProBox on the weekdays, though. I do miss them on the Wednesdays. Like, when they was doing on Wednesday events, I was fucking with them Wednesday events. I ain't gonna lie. But, you know, they've been active doing shit Fridays and Saturdays and stuff. So, and staying active, what you see them, you know, the whole month of March, you know, they active, man. They definitely active, man. So salute to ProBox TV, man, what they doing over there, man, for sure. You know what I mean? And salute to, who's that, my boy? That's my boy D1 right there. Yeah, what's good, my brother? What's popping? It was popping, brother. I already know, bro. I already know you working over there, brother. I already know, man. Get that bag, brother. You already know the vibes, man. So what we got next, man? So, oh, yeah, so this is different right here, too. Oscar Duarte. Of course, you know, we mentioned, you know, we talked about the David Benavidez and Zerto Ramirez fight coming up May 2nd, you know, Cinco de Mayo, you know, PBC taking over Cinco de Mayo. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? You got Oscar Duarte. He's set to return back May 2nd. So interested to see who he's going to fight. You know what I mean? Coming up next. So we'll probably scale it out once we look at the rankings again, because we definitely going to go over the 135-pound rankings along with the 140-pound rankings today. You know what I'm saying? Probably go between, you know, probably about 5-6 weight classes when we go over it for real. You know what I mean? But definitely Oscar Duarte back in action May 2nd. Definitely curious to see who his next op is going to be for sure. And it's crazy that ain't Africa. I will say that. It's definitely crazy. That boy Africa owe that man Oscar Duarte badly for real. He real live dude. He owe that man badly for real, man. So salute to Oscar Duarte, man. And Eddie Hearn with this little cryptic little message, man, right here, which is crazy right here, I gotta say. Let me do the banner down so we can read the whole thing real quick. So he said, press conference tomorrow in London, 2:30 p.m. Major announcement pending. So you got Eddie Hearn with this a major announcement that he's supposed to, you know, give out today, which is I'm very intrigued to what this announcement is gonna be. You know what I'm saying? We damn sure know it ain't no damn Boots versus Vergil. We know it ain't that. Shit. I'm just trying to think of what could it be. What he go form a promotional? What he'll be Queensberry join forces or something? Like they Queensberry come in the match room or something? Like I'm trying to figure out what this announcement is gonna be right here. Like I'm real curious. What y'all think this announcement is gonna be right here? Maybe an Anthony Joshua return for us, you know, an exhibition or tune-up fight for Anthony Joshua's return. Possibly that. I was thinking about that too, possibly. I'm trying to think of what else. Maybe something with Bam Rodriguez, possibly. You know what I mean? All right, maybe something with him. Now, is it anything pertaining with Boots? I definitely don't believe so. I don't think it's anything with Boots. That boy Balaza, salute to my boy Balaza. He said Queensberry is the best British boxing promotion. Hey, man, I feel like I ain't gonna lie, bro. I don't know. I feel like both of them, Queensberry and Matchroom, is like neck and neck for us, the UK, in my opinion. I say it's 50-50 with them for real. because Matchroom they do some great shit with the UK too. You know what I mean? Like they fights be looking a little bit more entertaining. Like I ain't gonna lie, Eddie Hearn put on more entertaining fights in the UK. You know what I'm saying? There, you know, than he does obviously in America sometimes. But Eddie Hearn, like he put on some entertaining fights in the UK. Like it's like more entertaining than Queensberry in a sense. Like Queensberry kind of got like a dull energy about some of their fights that they be putting on. Like, I don't know, somebody, I don't know, one of y'all, maybe y'all probably know what I'm talking about. Like, as far as like, if you watch Queensberry events, like their events, like it ain't like, it don't have no spark in the arena like compared to how like UK like with Eddie Hearn in the events that Eddie Hearn throws. Like the Eddie Hearn, like his crowd, his fan base, them boys at the Matchroom cars in the UK, they be going crazy up in there. They be wilding up there, man, for sure, man. So I don't know, but I say it's like 50-50 neck and neck between both guys for real, like with Queensberry and Matchroom for real. But what y'all think this announcement gonna be, man? Salute to my boys Lee Jack, man. What's popping, brother? What's good, bro? SBG Mello was good, brother. Yeah, man. We working. We early with it, man. We early with it, brother. Yeah. And my boy Malaza said Nick Barcar was a Queensberry production. I mean, now this is the thing. Don't get me wrong. Both companies is active as far as the zone. Like they both active, been doing their fair share of events. Like ever since Queensberry been with the zones the past year, because they just started being with the zone the past year. You know, they was over there with Sky Sports and shit. You know what I mean? So, you know, they've been active since they, you know, been over here with the zone, you know, in particular. I mean, they been keeping them boys active, man, for sure, man. Salute to my brother Cash Crypto, man. My hitter right there, my main hitter right there, you feel me? Hey, Cash, man, they was wilding last night. Y'all was wilding on Dub Show last night, bro. Y'all was wilding, dog. That shit was crazy, bro. Salute to my boy Cash, man. All right, man. So yeah, we did talk about this yesterday. So let me point that out yesterday, too, that we did talk about this with Mr. Brian Norman Jr. Brian Norman Jr. launches his own promotional company called Throwback Boxing Promotions and announces his first signing, which, you know, we mentioned last night that his first signing is Edwin De Los Santos. So I want to have that, you know, where, you know, you see the mixture, though, like I mentioned last night. Of course, Edwin De Los Santos, his manager is Adrian Clark, which is, you know, Brian Norman manager. So you see the whole mixture between that, you know, as far as that match between them three guys. And Brian Norman starting this shit. And, you know, Edwin De Los Santos, of course, he's with Zuffa as well. So I wonder how that shit works for us, you know, with, you know, Brian Norman Jr., you know, being his, you know, first, you know, having his first signing is with Edwin De Los Santos, and Edwin De Los Santos signing with, you know, Zuffa Boxing as well. So, you know, real interesting right here, you know, as far as Brian Norman. You know, congratulations to Brian Norman on this business venture right here for sure. You know what I mean, definitely got to salute him for, you know, doing this thing and starting his own shit up, you know what I mean, and, you know, figuring out what he gonna do, man, in this situation as far as in the boxing. But speaking of Brian Norman, I want to play. Let me get this new interview from him because he got a new interview on Ring Magazine, and we can react to that real quick. So let me pull this up with Brian Norman real quick. Yeah, that boy got a new interview. Pull this John up. All right, there you go.
Louis Art for the Ring Magazine. Pleasure today to be joined with Brian Norman Jr. On a nice sort of afternoon, I guess, where you are. Look, Brian, it's been a while since I last caught up with you, but yeah, how's things? How have you been, mate?
Everything's been wonderful. You know, back at the gym, back working, back doing that thing, and a lot of big announcements.
Yeah, well, let's first start off. You've got many accolades already in the boxing game, but a new one for yourself. Starting off your own promotional company. Announced the signing of Edwin De Los Santos today. I guess sort of starting off with that, like, what can I guess you can tell us about Throwback Boxing Promotions?
I mean, it's in the name itself, throwback. Of course, you got myself. We've seen how I like to operate, but look at the first signee, being at Edwin De Los Santos. Very gritty fighter, very hungry fighter. He has got his chance. And for example, in the last situation he had, the other guy missed weight. So it's those guys that they have what it takes, but they are missing those opportunities because of other reasons. So we just trying to shine light on those guys.
Albeit you're still young and your boxing career is really just starting. Was it always a thing for yourself being like, look, I do at some point you want to give back to the fighters, or you want to sort of show that care for the fighters? Was that always sort of part that you wanted in your career?
It's more so of a mentality thing. I never thought about doing about the promotion thing, but it's just like, if you just sit down and talk to me as a person, I love just helping people as a whole. So, of course, this is the business I'm in. I'm in the boxing business. Of course, it's a lot of corruption in the business. So I would love to come in and help fighters out myself.
Yeah, no, I completely respect that. And I guess can we see shows from yourself?
Yeah, like how y'all truly feel about that, as far as with Brian Norman Jr., signing Edwin De Los Santos? Like that's real intriguing to me, for real. It really is. Like, because Edwin De Los Santos, he's fighting under Zuffa as well. So that's really intriguing. You know what I mean?
Are you going to be, standing in the middle of face-offs and whatnot?
You might just see that. You might just see me smiling and cheesing in front of two hungry fighters.
Yeah, good stuff. But yeah, look, just I guess focusing on yourself on the boxing side. It's been a few months since obviously the Devin Haney fight that didn't go your way. But just reflecting, I guess, sort of, how do you reflect, I guess, on that and the time since then, since it's been about a few months since that fight?
A lot of reflection, a lot of I'm gonna say, just reading the fight and understanding why things went down the way they went. So, of course, I had to sit back and adjust to everything. Of course, you're on top of the world, and then let's say you lose your belt, which is what everybody wants to box. It's like, okay, don't settle into the result. Why did it happen? So I can go with ego, pride. I was fighting more so emotional instead of being myself. So now it's a lesson learned, and I got to give hats out to.
I agree with that 100%. If you watch the fight, definitely, obviously, you seen that he fought with emotion, obviously, where he was just, trying anything in there, man. And he know what to do in there, brother. Where, that boy Devin won the fight, even though after the knockdown, like I mentioned before, it wasn't much action after the knockdown, though, and after the second round, for real. Like, Devin Haney was on his jab, grab, and move shit. You feel me? But, continue.
Devin Haney for doing that. He mental warfare. He won a mental warfare battle. So it got me out of my body, got me out of my character. And I just salute to him. Hey, you live and you learn. No matter what, you can't.
Yeah, he did. B. Norm Jr. definitely lost it. Both. You know what I'm saying? But salute to my guys. I fuck with the Normans. You know what I'm saying? But both of them, they definitely lost the mental warfare aspect of it in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Going into the ring during fight week. You know what I mean? For sure.
Changed yesterday, but you can dictate tomorrow. So that's what I'm doing from now on.
Yeah, much. And is it hard to watch back, would you say, if you do?
At first, of course, it was hard. I mean, it's a loss, but after the first watch, it was like, okay, it is what it is. You got to watch it and see why things went down the way they went. So right now, it's nothing at all.
Was it hard accepting defeat? Obviously the first defeat at a world level and whatnot. Obviously, don't get me wrong, come to an elite fighter like Devin, but you
no more sleepwalking. What's good with my boy, man? What's popping, bro?
Put yourself at this little pedestal yourself, but was it hard to accept that defeat and be like, look, like you are a world champion again?
No, not at all. It's simply because the journey forever continues. It's only defeat if you sit there at that point. okay, you quote unquote lost, but it's only a loss if you stay at that point. Figure out what happened and keep going from that. Devin Haney's still active. I'm still active. Matter of fact, he's still at 147 at that. So why won't that door open up again?
Yeah, I was gonna say, is that something you definitely want to run back again?
Most definitely. You think I'm just gonna let that happen and just going about my business? Boy, no. Watch out now.
Yeah. Just still sort of on the topic of the fight. Obviously, I spoke to you sort of in the immediate aftermath, and you said that there was nothing really.
Yeah, it's gonna be a path for him to get back to there though. It's Devin on a whole total type of timing right now for his mission and fights. You know what I mean? And I don't think Devin will ever rematch Brian Norman Jr. That's just my personal opinion.
He done that surprised you? Do you still maintain that? Was there still things? Was it? Do you still sort of when you look back on the fight, there was still things that like didn't surprise you that he done in the fight?
No, nothing surprising because I already knew he was a great fighter as is anyway. So once again, I mean, he did everything we thought he was going to do. I mean, he's where he at for a reason. So I would say, regardless, nothing necessarily surprised me because I already knew how good of a fighter he was.
Yeah. And you look at like the lead up to that fight, you had, you still sort of have these, these great knockouts and on. Everyone's sort of supporting you. Everyone's on your back. That sort of changes after a loss. I don't know if did you experience that much? I guess people switching up on you and whatnot. Like, and I guess did you even pay too much attention to? I guess everyone's sort of supporting you, and then you get the critics after the fight. Like, how did you, I guess, deal with that? If it was really anything you paid attention to?
With that, life is all about perspective. You can look at the people, talking down on you. You can look at the people saying I told you wasn't going to be this. I told you wasn't going to be that. Or you can have the other side of everything I was looking at, which was, no, it's all good. Be knowing you still got it. Gonna shake that off and come right on back with it. So it's all about whatever you pay attention to. So both lanes were open. I chose to choose the positive lane of regard and looking at, okay, I still got people behind me. I'm still on my.
Yeah, like Brian Norman Jr., he wasn't sad and making excuses, going crazy about the loss and stuff. After he lost, you know what I mean? Like I said, bro, this shit happened. These guys is a winner and a loser in the sport, man, or it may be a draw. You know what I mean? Like these guys are going to lose fights, bro. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's your favorite fighter or not. You know what I mean? Like these guys are going to lose fights to the better guy that night. You know what I mean? And is whether how these guys come back. I like to see some of these guys, how they come back after a loss. You know what I mean? So I'm interested to see what Brian Norman does next in this next fight for sure. You know what I mean? And see how he comes back after this loss from Devin Haney.
I'm still doing my thing. Now, let me get back at the gym and work on everything I need to work on.
And obviously, there has been a few changes since then. I know you spoke on Cigar Talk with Najee, and you spoke about not working with your father anymore. Just sort of reflect on that, because I know obviously since then, your dad come out and made comments, and how difficult a decision was that to make?
Of course, it was a difficult decision because once again, that's my father. We even got the same name, but it was more so I needed to get away from. I'm gonna say get away from home. That's what I'm gonna call it. I need to get away from home and go outside a little bit more, and just go out and do my thing for a second. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just saying that. I guess how does it come to terms? I guess having that conversation, like how different.
Yeah, I mean it happens, bro. Like we done seen a lot of guys that had their father in their corner throughout their whole life and end up going to a different trainer. So like this shit shouldn't be surprising at all.
Cool, I guess. I know you spoke on it there, but I guess how difficult is that to have that conversation?
But like Brian, we gonna see Brian Norman. I know Brian Norman Sr. He kind of handled it a little bit wrong when he first announced, when Junior first announced that news. But I feel like Senior he's going to be around. He's going to be rocking with him. So they'll be rocking. You know what I mean? Like that. The love for them ain't changed at all. They're good.
Conversation being look, I need to change it, especially when you do mix family with it. Well, obviously it makes it extra harder, would you say?
Most definitely does make it hard because I became a man. Forget boxing. I became a whole man by everything he taught me, everything he raised me by. I became a whole champion as well. So, of course, what came down to this instance, it was a very hard conversation. But men do what men got to do. I had to have that conversation. Me and him sat down a few times actually, and we talked about it. We both, came to a conclusion. We had to do what we had to do.
Will he still be involved in the corner, would you say, your dad, or is it just fully a new training team now?
No, new training team.
Okay. Is that decision made with the new training team? And I see you training with Ronnie Shields. I guess, can you confirm anything or?
Yeah, I'm out here in Houston right now.
Yeah. So training with Ronnie Shields now, would you say?
Oh, yes, sir. It's been very great. This was week 1. Well, currently on week 2.
All right. So Brian Norman Jr. confirms he's officially, working with Ronnie Shields officially. Ronnie Shields is Brian Norman Jr.'s trainer now. So definitely news right there.
Now, but just in that 1 week, it's been a real journey already so far. So I'm ready to see what's to come.
Asked you what I guess came to the decision of you training with Ronnie, because I know there's a few videos leaked. Like I see, obviously you training with Derek. I'm right in saying it was Derek James.
Thrill Hill was good, brother. Was popping, bro.
There's a period of you with Derek James as well. So I guess what came to the position of you training with Ronnie Shields?
First thing first, this is Ronnie Shields we're talking about. This is the legend. This is the great. This is the guy that helped Pernell Whitaker, Vandy Holyfield, my hometown guy, Vernon Ford. So, of course, that off the rip, you got 2 red boys. Look at us, you touch us, we're going to turn red quick. But the mentality that we both have and the way that we both operate, the chemistry, and even boxing-wise, style-wise, everything match up. So I feel like this was the best coach to go with.
And how, talk about sort of going.
I like the move.
How can you
like the move, most definitely.
Being in Texas and sort of having as you say, like your father was always by your side. Now it's sort of a bit different. How can you describe, I guess, that change of that completely different setting now?
Actually, believe it or not, I love it simply because I have it's complete freedom, right? So you gotta be one with yourself. You gotta know who you are and trust yourself to go out and do the right thing. I don't have nobody watching over me 24/7 saying, make sure you do this, make sure you do that. So guess what? You got to look within and say, okay, you said you wanted this. Show me. You feel me? So no matter what, my biggest thing is master the man in the mirror. And this is the biggest blessing of all because I'm starting to see him more and more every day. And I'm getting a very clear picture. And I love this guy.
Brilliant. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
When you do map out a return, how does it look for you? Look, there's a lot of players at 147 now. You just seen Ryan Garcia win a world title. You still mentioned the Debbie Haney rematch. Obviously, let's say, being realistic, maybe a world title shot straight away may not be realistic. Like, how would you map out, I guess, the return for B Norm at 147?
Yeah, we can get of course, like you said, probably not a championship fight. Since we can't get that, we could come back and get a comeback fight in the summertime, and then the championship fight after that. That would be great.
Would you, like, let's say someone that is moving up to 147, you look at someone like Teofimo Lopez. Do you think that's a fight that interests you? Albeit, he's not a belt holder, but that's still a massive fight, yourself and him.
I mean, you said he had 147, so let's do it.
Mm-hmm. And how much, like, obviously there's big fights to be made. Tio isn't the world title. Do you think that's a fight that interests you? Albeit, he's not a belt holder, but that's still a massive fight, yourself and him.
I mean, you said he had 147, so let's do it. In the summertime, and then the championship fight after that. That would be great.
Would you, like, let's say someone that is moving up to 147, you look at someone like Teofimo Lopez. Do you think that's a fight that interests you? Albeit, he's not a belt holder, but that's still a massive fight, yourself and him.
I mean, you said he had 147, so let's do it.
Hey.
How much, like, obviously,
I don't know what's I get. I'm assuming Tio's. I don't know if he's still with Top Rank or not. That's a good question. Is Teofimo Lopez still with Top Rank? Because you remember I talked about that after the fight with Teofimo Lopez, where Top Rank didn't post no content about Teofimo Lopez after he lost to Shakur Stevenson. Like none whatsoever, bro. Like, so I wonder if Teofimo Lopez is still with Top Rank, but I'm assuming he is still. I'm assuming. So we'll say for now that Tio is still with Top Rank in some sort of way, possibly still. You know what I mean? We don't know because Teofimo Lopez, remember, his manager is Keith Connolly. And we talked about Keith Connolly last night on how he moved, with Eddie Hearn. I'll play that clip too. You know what I mean? How with Eddie Hearn. I'll definitely play this clip after we get done with this interview. But definitely interesting for us, you know, that situation with him talking about, you know, Teofimo Lopez. I like a fight with Brian Norman Jr. and Teofimo Lopez. I think that'll be a good fight. That's a good fight right there. Both of them coming off losses. Damn near, people probably be looking at it damn near on some crossroad type fight damn near. But you know what I'm saying? Even though Brian's, you know, younger, you know what I'm saying? Both guys are still young, you know what I'm saying, in the game, but you know, in particular though, for real. You know what I'm saying? But you know, it'll be a fight where, you know, it'll be real interesting to see Brian Norman Jr. and T.O. fight each other. Both of them coming off losses, even though I don't think T.O. will be next, though, in my opinion. I don't think T.O.'s next for Brian, you know, in particular, because I think T.O.'s not ready to come back right away. I think Brian's going to be – he's supposed to come back in May, and T.O.'s not going to be ready to fight in May, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Especially not fight Brian Norman Jr. in May. You know what I'm saying? After, you know, him just, you know, getting whooped the slavery off of him by Shakur Stevenson. You know what I mean? Getting jabbed to death all night by Shakur Stevenson. Like, nah. But I like the fight, though. I will say that. And hold on real quick. Hold on. You come back up here, man. And salute to my boy Big Dre, man, for the support, man, in the super chat, man. With the $4.99 super chat, man. My brother said, KMJ rocking early and was rocking late last night. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. I said I got content last night. I posted it up on the community. Well, I said, bro, we got content, bro. We definitely got content. We got content, bro. Like, so when I got some content and I got some free time, I'm going to come up and we're going to put some work in, man. If you already know the vibes, man. And salute to my boy, man, Isaiah, what you doing, man? What's popping, brother? It was good, brother. And then my boy, No More Sleepwalker, he said T-Ho versus B-Norm. Then Big Dog Willie says, T.O. is rumored to fight Ryan Garcia. I don't know if I like that. I don't like that. Nah, man, I don't like that. But would you say that, though? I like with Ryan fighting Rolly. I mean, Rolly fighting Devin. I mean, you can't even be surprised about it now. You know what I mean? Like that's interesting right there.
You know, T.O. isn't a world title.
I don't think T.O. will be the one.
Yeah, but do you say the real passion is driving back to becoming a world champion again?
Most definitely. No matter what, you know, the pinnacle of boxing is becoming the champion. So if I got to fight Teofimo just to get that fight, that championship fight again, best believe I'll take that.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone is there anyone, I guess, on that hit list saying, like, look, if I'm striving for anyone, I'm striving for this guy? Would it just be the belt holders, would you say?
More so the belt holders, more specifically is, of course, my last fight, Devin Haney.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And there's obviously been a lot of talk about Devin Haney, potentially him rematching Ryan Garcia. You've been in the ring with Devin. Like, how would you see a rematch with him and Ryan going?
I can't really say. I mean, of course, they squabble a little while back, and me and Ryan don't necessarily fight the same. So, hey, we shall see. Also, I believe they fought 6 times in the amateurs, if I'm not mistaken. So they got a lot of history.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess, and now you mentioned summertime there. Like, when do you feel like we see the return of Brian Norman? There's a lot of, like, myself included, I want to see you back in the ring. And I tweeted and I was like, man, we need you back. Ideally, when do you want to get back?
Shoot, May. The sooner the better, man. I need to get back in the ring in May. Like I said, I'm up here in Houston. I'm training. I'm working. I'm doing my job. So, shoot, just put me in front of them cameras, put me in that ring, and watch me go to work.
You know, I think one thing about yourself, Brian, like, everyone obviously loved the build up to the Haney fight and loved your personality. Like, that's still something we're gonna see. You know, you're still sort of gonna show yourself.
Hey, I'm still smooth and cool, man. I still got my groove. I can't help who I am. This is me. You feel me? So, yes, you best believe it's still gonna be the same character, the same person each and every time.
That's what I love to hear, and I look forward to it. Look, Brian, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you joining me. And good to see, obviously, the new promotional company as well. So, a man that wears many hats. So, look, good to hear from also the Ring Magazine Knockout of the Year award.
Yeah, see man,
in 2025. Yeah, no, that was brilliant.
All right, man. So Yeah, man. Salute to B North Jr. right there, man. You know what I'm saying? That was B North Jr. right there, man. No, definitely got his return coming back in May, like he just mentioned. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see B North Jr. back in action coming up in May. And definitely intrigued to see who he gonna fight. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna actually go over the rankings. Hold on, let me see what else I got over the top that I want to do before we do that real quick. Actually. Yeah, let's do that before we get into that. Let me see. Hold on. Anything else I want to talk about before we do that? Okay, matter of fact, no, we can do this. Fuck it. Let's go ahead and get into this conversation with Ja. All right, let's talk about this Ja overtime shit real quick. So, of course, you know, in recent time, and let me go ahead and pull this all the way up, going up. Hey, the text I just got is crazy. Where John at? All right, there you go. All right, bet. All right, so of course, man, sources with the IBF, man, you know, requested for Ja Obertai to make a decision on the title, on whether he's going to be fighting this weekend. You know, either he can defend the IBF title or fight for the promoter's belt, but not both. So you got the IBF, obviously, that they're threatening to take that belt away from Ja Obertai. Basically saying, like, if you ain't fighting for the IBF, then you out of here. You're finito. We need our title back. You know what I mean? And I told y'all, man, the IBF, they are super savages, man, when it come up to, the business, far as, these titles with their organization. And they're definitely not playing with Ja Obertai. And Ja Obertai, of course, let me go and scroll down because I got some more little content from Mr. Ja. I found this kind of interesting right here with Ja. So Ja was doing an interview, and then he mentions and says that the IBF had told him to choose over his cruiserweight title or the Zuffa belt. He said they are not true, and says he plans to unify after his fight this weekend. So this Ja Obertai is saying that the rumors from the IBS is not true. But then I found this little ironic for us, Ja Obertai, right here, though. With this, for us, Zuffa, what they posted on, their platform, saying built for the best. Here's your first look at Zuffa Boxing Championship belt right here. You know what I mean? And, they posting the belt. And, I told y'all the other day, as far as, how Zuffa, how they're pushing the Zuffa belt. They're pushing it like it's the best in boxing. Like, this is the best, fight. The fighters that's fighting over here is, this is the best fighting the best. Whoever has these titles is the best in boxing. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to push more value in the Zuffa belt than the actual sanctioned body belts. You know what I mean? And, that's the problem that I have with that shit, because I feel like that shit Fugazi over there, bro. I feel like the shit Fugazi, and you look at, how the casual fans look, how I already mentioned this. Casual fans, they only look at the 4 sanctioned body belts. You know what I'm saying? And they see whoever's the champions of them 4 sanctioned body belts, they feel like those are the guys, the champions. A lot of these casual fans don't know who Zuffa are. You know what I mean? So, I found a real interesting with Ja Obertai calling a cap on it for saying that, the rumors is not true. But I believe that, the rumors is definitely true. You know what I mean? It's definitely true. And Ja, I think he had another interview too, but I ain't gonna play that interview though. But Ja Obertai, I already mentioned that he was gonna have this issue with Zuffa, with him signing. And then, matter of fact, hold on, I am gonna play that. Fuck that, because I got a few minutes on that, because he said some shit in his interview that was interesting. I want y'all to hear this too. You remember how I was saying yesterday about Ja Obertai, as far as him probably having like a 3-4 fight deal? But when I was watching this interview with him, he said something real interesting with this interview right here. So let me pull this up. Let me pull this up. Hold up. Where he at? Andy shitted on Eddie Hearn on this interview too. Where is that? Top Sports. Hold on. Yeah. He shitted on Eddie Hearn on his interview and everything. There you go. Yeah, because I was watching it this morning.
You know why your advice didn't work? Because you're thinking too hard. Blue True Gold is literally built for turning your mind.
Eddie Hearn, he's not my mate. He's just nothing but bad, you know, like just talking badly, you know, trying to drag me through the
Let me go to this
put
part.
some big fights on, and they want to be doing it at a fast pace.
What does the road look like to a unified title shot now?
I just got to keep winning, bro. You know, I don't know what it looks like, to be honest. I just got to keep winning, keep doing my job, and I trust the other part of the team to do theirs. You know, and now we got Zuffa on board that obviously want to, you know, prove some people wrong and put some big fights on, and they want to be doing it at a fast pace. You know, I've got 3 fights a year with these dudes, so you know, it's we're active.
Bam, right there. You heard what he said right there. He said they got 3 fights a year. You know what I mean? So my thing is with Ja Obertal, how long is the deal? You know what I'm saying? Is it a 5-6 year deal? Like what's, you know, because it seems like his deal is a lengthy deal. You know what I mean? And so you just heard it right there. I'm gonna rewind that back right there. Hold on.
You know, prove some people wrong and put some big fights on, and they want to be doing it at a fast pace. You know, I've got 3 fights a year with these dudes, so you know, it's we're active. You know, and it's exciting. You know, so I'm just pumped to freaking get in the ring and do what I do. You know.
I can tell. Is your IBF World Cruiserweight title on the line on the weekend?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. You know, I'm pretty sure they're behind all that.
You see right there though. You see from when I showed you like the little screenshot part of the interview that just now where, you know, he said he was calling the IBF cap, but you see right here, he said, I'm sure it is. He doesn't know for real. You know what I mean? He doesn't know. And this interview was from probably a couple days ago, you know, in particular right here. But John Obertal clearly right here isn't sure if the IBF title is on the line or not. If he's going to be fighting for the Zuffa belt only, or he's going to be losing his damn IBF. He doesn't know.
Those silly things out, and now we get to sort of focus on the job and defend the. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. You know, I'm pretty sure. I'm just pumped to freaking get in the ring and do what I do. You know.
I can tell. Is your IBF World Cruiserweight title on the line on the weekend?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. You know, I'm pretty sure they're behind all those silly things out, and now we get to sort of focus on the job and defend the belts, which I believe that's what it should have been from the start. You know what I mean? Like, the fighter's always got to suffer from other things outside the ring, which is just silly. You know what I mean? I've done the hard work. I've done everything right, so I don't understand why it wouldn't be. You know, and I spoke to the IBF.
T Hill, what's good, my boy? What's popping, bro?
At the Garcia fight, you know, I bumped into a few boys there, and I told them, man, I really want to defend the belt. You know, I earned that belt, and the IBF world title is a respectable belt. So, you know, I'm keen to put it on the line and fight for it, and I can't become undisputed unless these boys, you know, follow that sort of goal as well.
Do you understand the magnitude of what Dana White is doing and planning to do to the sport of boxing? I've grown up and seen what he's done with the UFC. It's easier to follow when there's one belt. Do you kind of understand his pathway as someone who's come from the world of boxing, what he's trying to do so far it seems like there will eventually be one Zuffa belt. Do you kind of get the position you're in as one of the first huge major signings for Zuffa?
To be honest,
B King was good, my boy, and no more sleepwalking, bro. He's definitely not short. Like the crazy part, like I'm listening to this. I don't know if y'all listening to it in the same way I am, but I'm listening to this with Ja, where how he talks about Zuffa, where you gonna hear it right here. Like he's so dialed into whatever Zuffa got him, whatever Zuffa got him on, he's dialed into that shit. Like, and he's not understanding the whole politics of the game. You can understand, with the conversation where he's not understanding, the whole boxing war, the landscape for us, the sanctioning bodies, 100%. You know what I mean? Like, that's why I said he's not sure. He's not understanding, and you can understand 100% by how he's talking. You're going to see it more right here.
honest, bro, I don't let it get in my head too much. My job is to win fights. I'm like a laborer. They call me in.
So, he says he's not focused on the business, but as a fighter, you have to be focused on the business. At the level that you're fighting at, you have to be worried about the business. So, I mean, I'm just saying in general, man.
Fight him here, fucking done. Let's go to work. I got to win these fights, and then I go back home and I spend the time with my family until they call me again. You know what I mean? And that's all I've ever done. And I've always just kept my eye on the prize and stayed on track. So all that sort of outside noise. Obviously I'm proud to be here, and I do think Zuffa's here to stay. And they're going to be moving at a fast pace because they got some stuff to prove, which is awesome to be a part of. But it's it is what it is, man. Let's just get in the ring and do what I do best.
Were you surprised to see Conor Benn join Zuffa and leave Eddie Hearn after everything they've been through together?
This is funny right here.
Yes and no, if that makes sense. Like, he's got to do what's best for him. You know what I mean? And like I said, the track record for the last couple of years shows that Zuffa, which Zuffa is also Riyadh season, Ring Magazine, there's a big team behind them. The track record shows in the last couple of years that they have been putting on the biggest fights in history. You know what I mean? So
he talk about UFC. UFC ain't boxing, bro. This ain't that. I don't know what, like, come on, bro. Like, they got that boy down in over there, boy. They got that boy on some real Zuffa juice over there, bro. That shit crazy, man. My boy, shout out to my boy Isaiah. What you doing? He said, Cam, he understands he just playing the part. He trying the hardest to keep his belt. Yeah, like he really has to understand, bro. What's today? Today is Thursday. So today is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The fight is Sunday. So you got a couple more days. And you got Zuffa Boxing, they're promoting the belt where they're not even pushing him. And matter of fact, I got the screenshot too. Y'all ain't see him with the face-off last night? The face-off, he was wearing the Ring Magazine belt at the face-off last night. Hold on. I'm going to show you in a minute. Hold on.
Just because they're called Zuffa now doesn't mean, they're different people.
I want y'all to hear what he says about Eddie.
And, bro, they've been changing the sport, so it's exciting. And this is just the first stages of Zuffa. So it's huge, bro.
What did you think of Eddie's reaction? You were obviously promoted by him, and he spoke on the fact that when you were, it didn't end in the best way. You weren't given the most money for the fights that you had. And how do you think
Zuffa putting on the biggest fights? Fuck out of here. You see that car Sunday? That car Sunday trash.
Conor leaving the money he got
about
with Zuffa played into how Eddie feels now?
Well, I can't speak on them. I don't know what they've been through or what they've done, but hey, Eddie Hearn, he's not my mate. Like, we don't go fucking hanging out and go to the pub together and Bro, it's fully professional. You know what I mean? Like, and it just shows, you know, I've signed this super boxing to better myself, better my family, chase my dreams. You know, yeah, how many times I make it clear how I wanted an undisputed, you know, I'm chasing the belts, nothing happened, you know, like, and then I signed with him and he's just nothing.
But I say this though, I don't know. For us, what he's saying, right? He's saying that Eddie ain't put the work in for us getting him his shot at undisputed, or unifying up with Zurdo Ramirez, which I say it's not much Eddie Hearn's fault, because I mentioned to y'all, I believe that man Oscar De La Hoya been protecting that man Zurdo from Ja Obata for a while. If y'all look at look at Zurdo Ramirez's resume, his last 7-8 fights. But like, look at the last 4. Like, he won his last 4 fights. You know what I'm saying? Zurdo ain't had a stoppage since 2022. And I mentioned that yesterday. You know what I mean? When Sheldon Moore, he was talking about Zurdo stopping David Benavidez. I mentioned, I'm like, man, Zurdo ain't had a stoppage since 2022. What are you talking about? Like, so right there, I say more so it's not so much Eddie Hearn's fault, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Because Oscar been protecting that boy. That man Zurdo's 48-1, dog. Like, and ain't went nowhere near in the previous 3 years, nowhere near Ja Obata. Just been defending his straps and fighting guys, and fought a mandatory in between, though. You know what I'm saying? Which you definitely gonna have to do when you champion, especially when you got a couple of titles within a division. But Oscar never went towards fucking Eddie Hearn and Ja Obata's way with Zurdo Ramirez. And that's just the fact of the matter. And I've been talking about that for damn near the last year or two, damn near.
Nothing but bad, you know, like just talking badly, you know, trying to drag me through the mud. So it's crazy, you know. He even wanted me to fight one of his fighters. Like, what? Like, how does that make sense? You couldn't get me.
And that's funny. That boy, Ja Obata said that boy Eddie Hearn was trying to have him fight one of his own fighters on Batrobe. He was trying to get him whacked. Hell no, that's crazy.
Title fight, but the second I leave, you wanted me to give your fighter a title fight. Doesn't. But anyways, it is what it is, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I'm staying on my track. You know what I mean? I'm moving at my pace, you know, and these boys are moving with me. So let's go.
How does Ja?
All right, man. So that's done right there with Ja Obata right there, man. So, of course, Ja Obata, he fighting this Sunday. Let me show this screenshot for him, bro. Where that shit at? Right here, yeah. Look at that right there. You got the lady holding the damn Zuffa belt and everything. You got Ja Obata right there with the Ring Magazine belt. He ain't even holding the IBF belt up there at the face-off. And he talking about he going to defend his strap and everything, and that's what he want to do this Sunday. Y'all make this make sense right here, bro. Make this make sense. How you saying that you want to defend the IBF strap Sunday and you ain't even wearing it to the face-off? Like, make this make sense. My boy Big Dre, he said the IBF was stripped faster than a dancer for Benjamin. Facts plus tax. Facts plus tax, dog, for real. Like, the IBF do not play no games. I told y'all how they stripped that boy on Bud Crawford at 147. They ain't play with that bad. You know what I'm saying? They like, you gonna fight Boots. That boy Bud Crawford's like, no, I'm moving up to 154. All right, take your ass one, give us our belt. No more sleepwalking. He said, facts. That's how fighters get worked out of the bag, not focus on the business. Facts. That's what I'm saying. Ja Obata, like, you can, yes, you focused on your craft and everything, of course, always, 100%. That's a part of you being a professional. But the business is a part of you being a professional as well. You got to understand what you signing up for. Like, he doesn't understand the promotional war that's going on right now in the business. And he doesn't understand what he's signing up for with Zuffa, to where Zuffa, they got a clause in their contracts to where, they can drop you at any time. Like, that contract with Zuffa, even if you sign a long-term deal, that shit ain't fucking concrete 100%. You know what I mean? Like we read the contracts, far as Zuffa. We read a couple of them. Of course, a lot of them is different, you know what I'm saying, in particular, but the bulk of them. We read the bulk of majority of Zuffa contract. And you got to understand the business of what you signing up for. You got to understand as far as the sanctioning bodies, the business with that Dana White and with the sanctioning bodies right now with Zuffa, where he's fighting with the sanctioning bodies, and understand that the IBF, they ain't playing no fucking games about that belt, man. They're not. Like, and it's crazy. Like I'm saying, you see it right there on the screen right there. He's not even fucking repping the IBF belt right there in the face off. Like, come on, this is nasty work, bro. Come on. My boy T Hill, he said Zuffa putting on the biggest fights. They're the anti-PBC fam. They go push the narrative, Luke, a big dog. Then my boy T Hill, he said, a couple of ninjas been screaming how Eddie is the best promoter. I've always maintained he was smoking mirrors. Hey, bro, like, including with a lot of them, bro. Oscar De La Hoya. He been smoking mirrors lately. I would say Eddie's doing better than Oscar right now. You know what I'm saying? Because Eddie got 5 more years extended with the zone right now. He's good. You know what I'm saying? He's working. He's putting on some work. Oscar need to put some work in. He need to figure out this deal with the zone. And we're going to talk about that shit too. We definitely going to talk about that shortly too with Oscar. And Thrill Hill, my boy said Eddie don't have anyone in the stable that could beat Ja. And that was a thing too. That's when I thought about when Ja said it, I'm like, Eddie don't even got nobody at cruiserweight to even beat you anyway, though, in reality, though. So I don't know what the problem was with that. Like, he been putting dudes on where you been, cooking motherfuckers anyway. So I don't know what the issue was with that anyway, though. Like, and my boy No Boy Sleepwalk, he said it don't make no sense, bro. It don't make no sense. Like, don't even have a belt on and you talking about you defending your strap Sunday? Come on. T Hill said plain and simple. They offer him a huge payday to come over to the Zuffa way, and he don't even know what he has done walked into. He really don't. Like he said, he did. You heard him in the clip where he said he's gonna be fighting 3 fights a year. You know what I mean? So yeah, we'll see. We will see what happens Sunday with Mr. John Overtime, man. But he better get his business right, man. And all right, so let me go ahead and get into these rankings. Let me do that before we get into the Vergil talk. We're gonna leave the Vergil talk for last. With these rankings, so let me go and pull up. Where is that? Where the content at? All right, so of course, the rumors they said, with the WBC ordering, Williams Zepeda versus Lamont Roach, yesterday, and I showed to y'all last night from Dan Raphael a response from him. Is this right here? Let me see. Oh, no, that ain't it. Let me see where it's at. Oh, shit. Let me see where I put it at. Oh, there you go. All right. So Dan Raphael, he says the WBC did not order the fight. They came to the WBC with the done deal and asked for the fight to be approved for the vacant title. Various fights were proposed. WBC accepted this one since they were already the top-ranked guys. Normally, the interim title holder would have been half of the fight. And we talked about this last night where, Lamont Roach and Zepeda, both of them guys being 1 and 2 in the WBC, they went to the WBC where you got Oscar De La Hoya and, I guess Lamont Roach, his guy that he works with from Pro Box, I can't think of his name right now. But they got together and they put a fight together and they went to the WBC and proposed to fight for the vacant title. And it's very interesting. Of course, just to add more context to the conversation with Lamont Roach right here. And let me scroll back up. Just add the conversation. So, of course, the big conversation that hit last night that we talked about, and a couple of other channels is talking about as well right now, with Lamont Roach and William Cepeda being the co-main event to Tank Davis and Pitbull Cruz on his return right here. And they said that this is everything is locked in. Of course, salute to my brother Knockout Boxing last night. I was listening to my brother last night. He mentioned last night that the rematch as far as Tank Davis and Lamont Roach is done as well in the process of this. So they're in hopes of both guys winning and beating each other, and then they match up in the rematch. So very intriguing as far as that perspective. And I wanted to pull up. Before we get into this, I want to get into. Let me pull up these rankings, man. So let me pull them up real quick. Let me pull them up real quick. These rankings, because I want to talk about these rankings real quick. All right. Let me share the screen. All right, so just scrolling down, obviously in the heavyweight, we're just gonna go from top to bottom. Obviously, with the heavyweights, you see Alexander Usyk, IBF champion, Alexander Usyk, the WBA champion as well. These ads be coming up crazy. Obviously, he got 3 titles at heavyweight, and then coming up, very soon. Of course, Alexander Usyk gonna be fighting the guy Rico Verhoeven, the kickboxer legend is coming over. They're fighting in Egypt, May 23rd. Moses Atuma right there. You see, for us, and he's fighting in the title eliminator, obviously, against Jermaine Franklin, obviously. Not in the title eliminator, my bad, because he's the interim champion. Is he the interim champion? No, he's not even the interim yet. So they got Gasav as the regular champion. So yeah, Moses Atuma, basically, yeah, this is a title eliminator. So he's fighting a title eliminator against Jermaine Franklin coming up March 28th, that same day, earlier that day, the same day as Fundora and Thurman. Of course, Anthony Joshua, waiting on his return, of course. Okolie, a fight just got announced with Okolie. You see Derek Chisora right there. He's fighting Deontay Wilder coming up April 4th. Richard Torres, he's fighting Frank Sanchez. In that IBF title eliminator on March 28th on the Fundora and Thurman card as well. Herkovic still waiting on his return. We definitely will see him probably return pretty soon for sure. Of course, we just seen F.A. Ajag, but he just beat Charles Martin recently. Jared Anderson, we're still waiting on his returns. Elite Zhang right there, waiting on him to see what he gonna do back. So that's the heavyweight guys, of course. And then you see with cruiserweight right there, obviously. You got, Ja Opetav, the IBF champion. We just talked about him. We're gonna see if he's gonna defend his title this Sunday. You got Zerto Ramirez, the WBA and the WBO champion right there. So, and then of course, Noel McCallion, he beat Badu Jack, in that rematch where he's the WBC champion right there. So, of course, in recent time they was trying to get Ja Opetav to fight Noel McCallion. I thought the plan was, he fights this fight with Brandon Glenn, and then he goes and unify up with Noel McCallion. Because, I showed a picture of both guys, at one of the Zuffa events. I think it was the first Zuffa event that they had. I showed a picture of both guys where, both guys was facing off and they was talking to each other and everything and dapped each other up and everything. So I was thinking they was going to be planning to make that next or make that after, whoever Ja Opetav fights. But like I said, Dana White right now, they're eliminating the IBF. They don't give a fuck if Ja Opetav defends the IBF or not. They're not even acknowledging up going into this fight right here. You know what I mean? And you see, obviously, with the face-off picture right there with Ja Opata that I showed you, that he's not even recognizing and not even, wearing the IBF belt right there. So, of course, David Benavidez, Zerto Ramirez coming up May 2nd. Those guys. Not no crazy names, of course. Chris Billiam Smith. I know he has a fight coming up. I don't know the actual date. I just seen that recently from him. Anthony Yardy's in there now at 8 in the WBA right there. So I mean, not no crazy significant names. A lot of a parity, in the cruiserweight division for real in reality. And going up to lightweight, obviously you got Dimitri Bivol right there, IBF champion, and he has the WBO as well. Colin Smith is the WBO champion. He's gonna be fighting David Morrell coming up very soon. I forgot the date of that. I think it's coming up. Is it this month? Let me see real quick what date that David Morrell fight is real quick. I want to say it's March 21st or something. Hold on. David Morrell. April 18th. So you got Colin Smith and David Morrell April 18th in the UK. We did talk about that fight last week when it definitely got announced, where I was like, it's crazy with David Morrell. He's going out to the UK for this fight, in particular. And then we got of course, David Benavidez, the WBC champion, and of course he has the WBA interim champion. He's a WBA regular champion, and you got Dimitri Bivol having the WBA title and stuff as well. Of course, Dimitri Bivol, I mentioned him yesterday as far as his purse bid with Michael Eifert. That got extended yesterday again for the second time. So we're gonna be waiting another week or two for as the fight. What we're gonna know with Dimitri Bivol and Michael Eifert in particular. Artur Beterbiev, I did speak about him for as him possibly being on the same card with Dimitri Bivol, so they can go ahead and the same like I just mentioned with Tank and Roach. Both of those guys fight other guys on the same card, and then they end up fighting each other next for that trilogy. So that's the perspective that I've heard in particular for us that, but we'll see. Of course, that trilogy should have been happening. Y'all already know I just spoke about that. Ben Whitaker at 3 right there in the WBC. So you see Ben Whitaker moving up in the rankings right there. Of course, he's a matchroom fighter right there at 175. Najee Lopez, pro box fighter right there. Definitely, one of them guys that's been cooking up. Over there on pro box. That's a significant name in my opinion at 175. Of course, they was almost about to pair him up with Beterbiev last year. And who else? We got Daniel Lapin. He got a fight coming up in the UK. He's been active. You know what I'm saying? So even with 75, not a crazy weight class so much. You know what I'm saying, with significant names in 75, but you see Brandon Glenn right there. You know what I'm saying? When I moved up at cruiserweight, he number 8 up there in the WBC. So going down the middleweight, look at you got Janibek, obviously, which is I don't know. Did they strip Janibek of his titles? I don't know. I don't think they had. That's crazy. But I know Janibek, he's out for a year though. So Janibek is suspended for a year for with him testing positive going into his fight with Erislandy Lara. And Erislandy Lara, of course, coming off that last fight that he had, he didn't look too crazy in that last fight. Carlos Adames, he has a fight coming up with Amo Williams coming up March 21st. That fight is March 21st. So Carlos Adames is coming up fighting soon. You see my boy Yuli Hernandez, number 1 in the WBA right there. Hey, Yuli Hernandez, me and my boy Kenneth Mohiri, we was talking about Yuli Hernandez the other day on the conversation that we had where I was talking about Yuli Hernandez is fighting on that that March 28th card, Fedora Thurman. He's fighting Terrell Gachet coming up. You know what I mean? So we're going to see Yuli Hernandez in action. PBC, don't be surprised you see PBC pair Yuli Hernandez up for Erislandy Lara, unless Erislandy Lara decides to, retire. You know what I'm saying? He up in age. And, you look at that last fight that he had, he ain't looked that well for real. I think JNetwork probably would have whooped Erislandy Lara probably in that fight if they probably would have fought maybe, man, because he didn't look crazy in that fight. But you see them right there, obviously, the guys at 160. Of course, Jesus Ramos, he's the interim champion. You know what I mean? With the WBC, you see Yuli Hernandez at 4 right there. Troy Isley right there at 8 and 9 with the WBC and the WBO. Vito Melanicki right there. Vito Melanicki, I forgot what's Vili. I thought he was gonna be with Lufa, but then he just signed with somebody else just recent time. I don't know if it was Pro Box or not. I don't remember. But definitely interesting. My boy Thrill Hill said JNetwork hasn't been stripped. Yeah, he ain't stripped yet, man. Because there was people talking about it like he should have got stripped, man. Which is I don't got no say so 100%. I don't know, like far as that, but you see Shane Mosley right there, 14. Of course, he just signed with Zuffa. Jahad Tucker right there. So you got the middleweight right there, Josh Kelly at 154, and Xander Zayas, WBA and WBO champion. Sebastian Fundora, of course, he's about to fight Keith Thurman coming up March 28th right there with 154. And you see, Boots Ennis is the interim champion for the WBA. And hold on. That shit, I wanted to do this with before let me share my screen because I want to show let me show Xander because let me go back to that as far as before going into 154 real quick. Xander from yesterday and go back to the back and forth with him and Josh Kelly real quick.
Engaging conversation with Josh Kelly and his team.
Here you go.
Just to put it easy, he does not want to fight.
Wow.
He just doesn't want to fight. We told him for the right money, we'll go to England. If not, come to Puerto Rico. We have a date for you. We both fought in the same date. It was supposed to be an easy conversation. He does not want to fight. He just doesn't. And that's just that. I can't make people fight me,
Right.
Now we have this weird thing with Boots and Vergil with the court and suing and Vergil and Golden Boy suing each other,
right.
all of that. Still waiting on what's going to happen. Supposedly they should make a fight happen. We don't know yet. Haney also called me out. We also engaged conversation with Haney. He is open to fight, but obviously, like everybody, for the right money. And he's open to come to Puerto Rico because again we have a date set in the island. But some of these guys they're not willing to play ball. They're willing to go on social media and say I want to fight.
Yeah. They're hiding behind reasons.
It's simple to go on social media and say, "Oh, I want to fight everybody." And then when the conversations come by, I'm like, "Oh, I don't really want to do it." That's why I don't do all the social media stuff because I try to make things happen the right way.
Peter, what do we think of the state of where things are at right now?
Before Xander became champion, like 18 months ago, maybe, when we got a phone call. Would you fight Vergil Ortiz in Saudi for X amount of dollars? 10 seconds, yes. They went and fought Majimov. 6 months later, when we were now the mandatory for Fundora, he literally gave up his title. He had the WBO title. He gave it up
to not fight
Xander. And he can say what he wants, but we were offered to fight him in San Francisco at Alcatraz for X amount of dollars.
Went for the bag to fight Tim Zhu.
He said yes.
To fight Tim Zhu.
We didn't even negotiate the money. It was good money. Yes. The opportunity. You're the champion. We know we got to come fight you. vacated the belt.
That's crazy.
So it isn't like Xander.
They would
Xander
rather
is the only
vacate the belt than not fight.
And that's what I'm saying. It's easy to go on social media, your manager, your team, and say,
I'm making that fight.
Xander doesn't want to do this. And I'm willing to play ball. But, like I'm willing to play ball, but you guys have to play ball with me too. I can't just do everything.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I have to make the negotiations. I have to sell the fight. I have to come on now. Let's talk boxing. Let's talk real actual fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to just again go on social media and say I want to fight.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, like your star has never been bigger. Like you were just on a hundreds of millions of people stage after winning your.
So you got Xander right there, man. He was talking about, the guys that he was, going after the fight in recent time after, Abaz Baru, and even beforehand, before Abaz Baru, came into the picture as well. Talking about, Vergil and Boots, they got, the whole situation with Vergil with the legal situation, and then you got, Josh Kelly. He mentioned Josh Kelly, which is we're gonna get back into those screenshots, which I showed them screenshots for them guys going back and forth last night. Josh Kelly, they're in negotiations and stuff, but then Josh Kelly, he doesn't want to fight. So for some reason, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, but we're gonna get into the screenshots. Hold on, let me get the screenshot. There we go. Boom. Let me put a banner down too. All right. You see Josh Kelly right here. He said, "This is some lies here." He said, "My promoter," and this is him responding to Mr. Xander Zayas. He said, "For one, my promoter is the only one making offers to you. For two, we are willing to come to the U.S. to make the fight." He said, "For three, I've been told categorically, you said you will not come to England. 4, Matchroom, the Zone have a setup top on TV. Matter of fact, hold on. Oh, is that the rest? Yeah. He said, Matchroom and the Zone have a setup on TV. Top Rank don't have at the moment. Then he said, so I'm spelling someone sees an easier fight elsewhere for some money or has overpriced himself on purpose just to look at different options. Now, you could have boxed Bakram. Nobody jumped at that chance except me, and I went out and beat the boogeyman. So no way I will be refusing any fights with the likes of Xander Zayas." So Mr. Xander Zayas, he responds to him. He says, "For one, 2 weeks ago, Top Rank approached Matchroom, and we are still waiting on a formal yes from you. 2, this is the first time I hear you say this, so that's good news. 3, false. Your own promoter was the one that told us that the economics don't work in the UK. 4, we have a date, a venue, TV in Puerto Rico, ready to go and only waiting for your former yes. Now that you said yes," he tags Top Rank, Matchroom, Eddie Hearn, and Bob Room. "Let's get this unification done." So you got Xander Zayas, basically saying that, we got TV done, venue, everything set in Puerto Rico. If you're willing to come to the U.S., then all right, then you can fight us in Puerto Rico. We got it done. And since you now talking, and actually this is the first time you're actually saying something about it, shit, that's good news. Let's get this unification cracking. So, and then Mr. Josh Kelly, this guy, he responds to this guy on Twitter. He says, "Zayas is better than Bakram, you dumb fuck. You arguably had a draw with him, and Xander is a bigger draw than you. So he's the A side. This has to be done MSG Puerto Rico weekend, or you're a chicken." Then Josh Kelly responds and says, "I'll come to MSG. No one was jumping to fight Bakram. I did, though." I don't understand why he keep talking about no one fighting the Bakram, which, I mentioned last night with Josh Kelly. It took 2 negotiations for Josh Kelly to fight Bakram. Josh Kelly was supposed to fight Bachram before Erickson Lubin was the mandatory. And Josh Kelly backed out of negotiations and went elsewhere. And then it went on to Erickson Lubin, where, of course, that didn't fall through, obviously, because the Erickson Lubin ended up fighting Vergil Ortiz in November. And then it went back to Josh Kelly, where the IBF managed Josh Kelly. You know what I mean? So he being so powerful, and that was a close-ass fight. And you was really, grabbing moves throughout the whole fucking time. You was fighting on some, retarded ass Devin Haney shit for real. So he said that with no network provider with Top Rank, I'm holding some of the main cards in this discussion. You are not the A side, bro, Josh Kelly. You are not the A side, dog. I don't know why he's putting on this platform. You got one title. Xander has two. Now, I mean, you are not the A side in this situation. You know what I'm saying? If that's the case, send that boy the paperwork and get it cracking. And then you got this right here. Dude said you cat. And then, Josh Kelly says, we've never made that offer. Never had one from Top Rank. They said no to Sunderland AFC Stadium. And we said we're willing to go to the U.S. to show out for you guys. So you got Josh Kelly right there saying that the boy was cat right there, man. And I believe Josh Kelly is cat. Josh Kelly, he's the one that's doing all the talking, bro. And I said it last night. The one that's doing majority of the talking is the one that's doing the capping. You got Josh Kelly talking about mentioning fighting Bachram. Why are you mentioning fighting Bachram for? We're talking about fighting each other right now. What the fuck do Bachram got to do with the conversation? Like, come on, are you shitting me? Like, why are you even talking about Bachram? Your focus need to be Xander. That Bachram, that's just done. Nobody's talking about Bachram. He's finito right now. We talking about Xander Zayas right now. That's what the hell we talking about. You know what I mean? And you got to make sense with him. And Xander, he basically on standing on business. Xander's not doing too much talking. He made his one tweet and that was it. He ain't reply back to Josh Kelly or reply to other Twitter, fans and up there in the comments and shit like that. He ain't do all of that, but you see Josh Kelly is. You know what I mean? I said the person that's doing the majority of the talking is the person that, is capping about the fight majority of the time. And salute my boy Malaza. He said in Puerto Rico, Puerto Rico, that atmosphere with Xander, though, I ain't gonna lie. That atmosphere for Xander when he fought the Baz Baru, that was an amazing atmosphere, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I fucked with the atmosphere. I was rocking with it. He said, Hal would go to Xander via... He said, I would go to Xander Zayas fight the politicians and their employees. He said, Malaza said, Xander Zayas versus Kelly and NYC. That's it. Yeah. Hey, if Josh Kelly, if you said that you're willing to go out to New York, then let's see it. Go out there. You know what I'm saying? Just go out there, get Top Rank. Make it happen. Y'all invested a lot of money in Xander Zayas. Make it happen, man. You know what I'm saying? And my boy Thrill Hill, he said, I see there are 3 undefeated guys on the boots in the WBA. Eddie should make it happen with one of them. Keep trying to hold on to them that belt like Mario's, as long as he can. He got home cooked, bro. Man, that made me go back to this right here, what I played last night when you mentioned that right here.
Before Conor Ben jump ship to Zuffa Boxing, why wasn't a fight between him and Ennis being proposed? That fight would have turned him into a star.
Because Eddie was trying to protect Conor and keep him into a star. He didn't
Paulie, you're 100% right, but that's why I say
never been the priority. There's always somebody ahead of him.
Has not been a priority because you got the built-in rivalry, the U.S. versus the U.K. Conor Ben is kind of a sourly guy. He can play the bad guy role. Ennis can play the good guy role. Their styles clash. I don't understand that. They had no problem with throwing Chris Algieri in the ring with Conor Ben. Why don't they throw Conor Ben in the ring with Boots Ennis?
Because Eddie has favorites. But Brett, Eddie has favorites, and unfortunately, Boots ain't it. Boots is the most talented guy there, but he's not. It's a personal favoritism.
It's obvious.
Yes.
So So the obvious thing is, why don't they just make an in-house fight and let Boots fight Josh Kelly?
Well, so they were saying.
Great question, right? I've been saying the same thing for a while. Like, and salute to my boy Two Sizzle. What's good, bro? What's popping, bro? I've been saying the same thing for a while. Why won't the man Eddie Hearn put Josh Kelly on Boots Ennis? Why won't he put Conor Ben on on Boots Ennis? All that time, Boots Ennis fighting at 147, and we didn't even get to see him with Conor Ben at all. You know what I'm saying? And Conor Ben being up there at 147, and he going to the 160 to fight Mr. Chris Eubank Jr. And in the rematch, we didn't even care to see the rematch. Nobody cared to see that rematch, dog. And I'll go back to these rankings real quick before we get into this Dana interview. Let me close this up. So back to the rankings right quick. So like I mentioned, Xander Zayas and Josh Kelly, they're negotiating their fight right now. Fundora fighting March 28th, with Thurman. Of course, Majimov, he just fought in recent timing. Isaac Luceru, he just fought in recent timing. Who else? Boots Ennis. Now let's look at this WBA real quick. Just look. All right, so you see the WBA right here, right? And you got it's like he's in no man's land, bro. As far as name wise, if you look at it for real, you know what I mean? Like, look at it. You got Isaac Luceru, and he's on PBC. Like, he's not Boots. They're not fighting. Boots not fighting him. You know what I'm saying? We got to be real. Then you looking at a Baz Baru. He just coming off of losing to Xander Zayas. Boots definitely not fighting him. Majimov, yes, he did just fight recently, and that's the name that a couple of people I've seen brought out. Of course, Majimov is number 3 right here in the WBO right here. You know what I mean? So you got Majimov as a name that they're mentioning, and which I'm not crazy about that fight. I think Boots, obviously he'll demolish Majimov. Brandon Adams, he's a Zuffa fighter. Of course, that wouldn't happen. Giovanni Santillan with Top Rank. Some of these, unlike these unknown name guys, like Eddie's not. He couldn't do any of these unknown name guys. You got Charles Conwell, number 11, right there, and the WBC, right there. Salute to my boy from Ohio. You know what I mean, my dog. And so I mean, like it's really tough on Boots, man. Like on who the next. So it's like now. The thing is, Xander in that clip that I showed you, he only talked about Boots and Vergil's situation as far as them fight each other and Vergil having this lawsuit. And the thing with Boots is he's the interim champion, so he can push for this. But I found something interesting too about that too. Hold on. Did I put that? Did I add that to here? Let me see if I added that, bro. No, I didn't add that. But I see something, man, that was real crazy, bro. With the zone. Hold on, let me see if I can pull that up on Twitter real quick. I think I retweeted it earlier too. Let me see this real quick. Okay, it's a rumor. All right, so rumor report that the zone in the WBA months ago was informed that they didn't want them to order the mandatory with Xander Zayas and Boots Ennis because they was trying to make the Boots and Vergil fight. So this is the zone. Word from the zone. They apparently went to the WBA for them not to mandate the fight with Boots and Xander because they was trying to get the Vergil fight to happen, which is real crazy, bro. That's how bad, and that shows how bad the zone wants that fight with Oscar and Eddie putting that fight together with Boots Ennis and Vergil Ortiz right there. You know what I mean? So like that's crazy right there. Let me screenshot that right away because I'm gonna put that on the screen. Yeah, that's some crazy shit. So, but like I said right there, you see the 154 Rashidi Ellis right there. What is, he fought in recent time, and you know what I mean? Maybe, if some don't work out with Vergil, maybe come back to the table. He's number 2 right there. You know what I mean? Let's see what else. D Free was good, bro. Was popping, brother. Was good. So let's scroll down. Let's go down to 147. So down to 147 right here. And obviously we've been talking about, the guys at 147, the trio between, Rolly Romero, Ryan Garcia, and Devin Haney. Rolly Romero, the other day, he said that he signed his part for the deal with Devin Haney. Devin Haney got to sign his part now. Of course, Ryan Garcia, he's been pushing to fight Devin. Devin went away from the Ryan Garcia fight Rolly since Rolly's talking about negotiation. We know Rolly in particular, the WBA, they're supposed to set some orders out this week, which, one of them is supposed to be Rolly Romero and Shakram Giasov. The others, Armando Resendez with Beck the Bully, Beck the Mirror, that just fought, a couple weeks ago on the Garcia card. Who else? We got Kid Austin and Lucas Body. WBA, they're about to order them. So you got Kid Austin and Lucas Body about to order them. The WBA about to order them in particular for us them. So Rolly was rushing to get this fight happening with Ryan Garcia, with Devin Haney, pretty much. He was rushing to get the fight happen with Devin Haney because he don't want to fight that mandatory. Giasov been taking step aside money for a while. Even when Boots was champion, he's been taking step aside. And Giasov he's a matchroom fighter. You know what I mean? So added context. Rolly Romero was recently negotiating with Conor Benn, where Conor Benn ends up signing with Zuffa Boxing. You know what I mean? Where you got Conor Benn fighting, Regis Prograis April 11th on the Tyson Fury and Magmadov card. So you got that right there. Of course, Rolly Romero was negotiating with Manny Pacquiao for some months, where Rolly Romero had a tweet out saying that Manny Pacquiao outpriced himself pretty much and said that he really didn't want to fight him, but people was wanting to fight him, and people on Manny's side and, from, I guess, the world, they was pushing that fight on him, more so from Manny's side. And, that fight didn't fall through. So you got Devin Haney and Rolly right now in negotiations. They're fighting right now, possibly coming up maybe May 3rd from May 30th on what they're saying. Leaves Ryan out of the loop. You got Louis Crocker right there. He was supposed to fight Leon Paro, which is number 2 right here in the IBF, and that fight just got postponed because Crocker has damaged ligament in his hand. Patty Donovan right there. I don't know if they were set. He had a fight. They had Patty Donovan set with somebody. I want to say. I don't know if it was Karen. I don't know if Patty Donovan's about to fight Karen. But I'm trying to think of who Patty Donovan is. Somebody, yeah, Patty Donovan has a fight coming up. I don't know if it's Conor Walker. It might be Conor Walker. You know what I'm saying? It might be, yeah, it's Patty Donovan and Conor Walker. They're fighting coming up. You see, Conor Walker right there at number 5 in the WBA right there. You see Brian Norman Jr. at 5 in the WBC right there in particular. So you see Brian Norman right there And number 5 right there. Of course, he's number 5 as well in the WBO. You got Rohan Polanco at number 7 in the WBO. You know, Tiger Johnson at 8 in the WBO. You know, of course, you know, they had the whole, you know, Sean Haney and Bill Haney, all them little youngest jumping, you know, Tiger Johnson in recent time. And Mario Barrios, he's still in the 147, even though Mario Barrios just announced that he's moving up to 154 yesterday. Manny Pacquiao, see him right there at 7. And Manny Stenionis at 3 right there in the WBA. Conor Benn is still ranked at 147, obviously, right now, but we'll see if that changes with this fight that he has with Regis. And Conor Benn did come out and say that he want to work with Eddie coming back. So don't be. Eddie said that he's willing to work some things out. They're gonna have to have a conversation. So don't be surprised you see Conor Benn after this one fight, he get that 10, 15 million, whatever in that fight, fighting Regis, and he come back and work right with Eddie. And I wonder how the rankings is going to move with him after this, in particular, though, and just in general. So you got those guys at 147 right there, obviously. Anybody else? Abel Ramos, he just fought this past Saturday. He won his fight with Tyre Smalls, obviously. So we'll see. What's Brian Norman Jr.? I say a good fight for him at 47. I mean, of course, he mentioned Teofimo Lopez in the interview. I mean, of course, Top Rank would want to go with somewhere in-house, most likely. I wouldn't mind seeing him mix it up with Rohan Polanco. You know what I'm saying? I know people that rumored and talked about Tiger Johnson, but I don't see Brian Norman out the gate fighting Tiger Johnson. I don't see that happening. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion right there. So we'll see. We'll see what's happening. That's 147 right there. And scroll down. The guys at 140. So a little interesting too. And another thing, salute to my boy KO. He reported too as well the fight with Pitbull with Tank on his return possible is going to possibly be at 140. Of course, Pitbull is the interim champion for 140 with the WBC right there. And then you see Dalton Smith, he has, obviously the WBC, he's the, the regular champion. Alberto Puello, he's the mandatory, the WBC. That soon they're probably going to be mandating that fight with Puello because they made him the mandatory. So you'll probably see Dalton Smith fighting Alberto Puello next. Of course, Shakur Stevenson, he's the WBO champion right there. Gary Anton Russell, he just fought a couple weeks ago. He just won his fight against Andy Hiroka. You got Richardson Hitchens right there, obviously. Has the mandatory with Lindolfo Delgado right there with the IBF within 30 days. And you remember I played that clip, and I'll play it again too. Possible, don't be surprised you see Hitchens and you see Hitchens and Berlanga make a move to Zuffa Boxing. So I'm gonna play that clip on that too. So Oscar Duarte, I mentioned him earlier in the show. He's going to be fighting May 2nd on the David Benavidez. Okay, I've got to look at this text. Yeah, so you're going to see Oscar Duarte fighting on May 2nd on the David Benavidez and Zurdo Ramirez card. Sandor Martin, no recent news on Sandor Martin in particular. You see he's number 2 in the WBC right there. You see Lindolfo Delgado, he's number 3 in the WBO. So, of course, and then he's number 5 in the WBC. So they fucking with Lindolfo right there, obviously. Arnold Barbosa, you see right there. Arnold Barbosa, number 6 in the WBO. He's about to fight Kenneth Sims coming up. So let's see where Kenneth Sims is at and see if they in other rankings too. You see Tito Mercado, number 7. He's been reported that he's about to sign with Zuffa Boxing right there. And salute to my boy Just Do, man. And salute to my boy Empty the Clip too as well, man. What's good with y'all fellas, man? What's popping, brothers? Right there. So you see, Tito Mercado, he's been rumored that he's going to sign with Zuffa Boxing right there. Arnold Barbosa has a fight with Kenneth Sims coming up March 14th. You see Kenneth Sims, he's number 11 in the WBC right there. I just mentioned his name right there. Adam Azim, I know he has a fight coming up, where he just fought recently. You know what I'm saying? Adam Azim right there. That's a guy that, you know, I think he's under Metro. He's under Metro. Yeah, they've been pushing him, a recent time. And you see, he's number 7 in the IBF over there. He's number 7 in the IBF, and Adam Azim is number 8 in the WBO right there. So you see, they've been pushing him. Gustavo Lemos. That was the fight. I think Adam Azim's supposed to fight Gustavo Lemos. That's the fight that's supposed to happen soon. So you got, Adam Azim and Gustavo Lemos. They're supposed to be fighting soon. And what else? We got who was Gabriel Venezuela right there. You got Kenneth Sims, number 5 in the WBA right there. And of course, we mentioned him fighting. He's about to fight Mr. Arnold Barbosa, but I mentioned that. Sabril Matias, obviously, had that loss right there. He's number 3 in the WBC. Who else we got? Keyshawn Davis, number 1 in the WBO. Let that be known. Keyshawn Davis, number 1 in the WBO right there. So let's let that be known right there. And salute to my boy said, "Our heart, my dog, bro. What's good, bro?" So you got, like I mentioned, the brotherly love right here, Mr. Shakur Stevenson and Keyshawn Davis won't fight each other, and Keyshawn Davis is number 1 in the WBO. Nasty fucking work, and Shakur, I told people, mark my words, Shakur Stevenson would not be in the ring with Ryan Garcia or Devin Haney. Now, of course, with Devin Haney negotiating, talking with Rolly right now, Ryan is available, but Ryan's not going to go down to 140. His father, I played the clip of that already, where his father said they're not going down. They want to fight at 147, so they feel that Shakur Stevenson wants to fight them. He should go up to 147 to fight them. And, of course, Shakur Stevenson already mentioned that if he's fighting at 147, he wants rehydration clauses on Ryan Garcia and Devin Haney. So in mindset, I feel like that fight is dead. That fight is not going to happen. So that's why I said, Shakur Stevenson is one, those guys to move down, and one of those guys to be on rehydration clauses. Devin Haney negotiating, fighting Rolly, Ryan Garcia not willing to go down for him. It doesn't make any sense. So that Shakur Stevenson won't be in the ring with one of those guys at all. And so it leads me to where let's get this unification with Gary Anton Russell. Now, I know Gary Anton Russell, I didn't like the energy with him talking that he want to fight Dalton Smith and then fight Africa and then fight Shakur Stevenson. I don't like that. No, go after Shakur now. Fuck all that. Go after him now. Let's get this shit cracking now. Like Dalton Smith, he's about to end up fighting Alberto Puello right now. Africa has mandatory win Adolfo Delgado right now. And that's who he's going to be fighting next, unless he ends up vacating. And like I mentioned, there's a possibility, I'm hearing that it's reports that Africa may be signing with Zoo for boxing. And that was reported from Eddie Hearn starting off. And, it has been creeping behind the scenes with some guys that, with me being tapped in behind the scenes a little bit, man. It's been rumors of that. So I would say that. So don't be surprised if you see that with him and Edgar Berlanga with Zoo for boxing. You see Keyshawn Davis, he's ranked number 4 in the IBF right here. And of course, they was negotiating for a quick second, and Richard Hitchens, he outpriced himself on the Keyshawn Davis fight. Who else? Okay, Emiliano Vargas. So we got Emiliano Vargas right here. Number 5 in the WBO. And he just fought this past week. And you remember I was talking about Emiliano Vargas. I said I'm not that crazy about Emiliano Vargas like some other people are. You know what I mean? That's just my personal opinion. I ain't saying he a hype job or none of that, you know what I'm saying, or saying he trash. I just don't see Emiliano being that special in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I may be wrong. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he proves me wrong. But I don't see it right now from the fights that I'm seeing from him, and seeing how Top Rank is moving him. I don't see it 100% for real. Like how they moving him. Like, so you got Emiliano number 5 right there, and the WBO right there, which is interesting. That's for Shakur strap. You see Emiliano right here, number 12, in the WBA right here. So I feel like Top Rank's been moving him slowly. Like they're still moving him as a prospect for real. And he's 17-0 with 14 knockouts. Like it's time to step him up in competition. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm just like that guy, Quintana was tough. You know what I'm saying? I know my boy Malaza was talking about him on one of the on that short that I posted about Emiliano. Quintana's definitely tough for sure, man. But I felt like Emiliano should have got him out of there. That's just my opinion. You know what I mean? And even with, like I said, mentioning with 140 real quick. Of course, the rumor, Tank fighting Pitbull Cruz, for the interim title, you know what I'm saying? Possibly, you know what I'm saying, too, reported from my brother KO last night, too. So, like, we'll see what happens with that. Of course, Lamont Roach fighting for the 135 title, the vacant title, that, Miss Shakur Stevenson used to hold, obviously, which has been big conversations in the sport. My problem with this, I gotta be real. Javier Herrera, interim champion, he should be fighting for this title before one of these guys, before William Zepeda and Lamont Roach. That's just my personal opinion. He should be fighting for one of those titles beforehand. Like, he's the interim champion. He should have that right. But like I mentioned earlier, William Zepeda and Lamont Roach, they go to Boy and Pro Box TV. They locked the fight in behind the scenes and approached the WBC with the fight. And the WBC approved of the fight. So it wasn't the WBC ordering the fight 100%. It was they ended up ordering after Lamont Roach and William Zepeda, they approached them with the fight. So I feel like that's nasty work too, especially with Javier Herrera, being interim champion. He just fought in a title eliminator in December. I mean, of course, Abdullah Mason, he's the WBO champion. I'm hearing that WBO, they're going to mandate him and Joe Cordina coming up soon. Yeah, he's already done. Yeah, we done. Yeah, for sure. You already know. Yeah, salute to my boy Anthony Clip. You already know. So you got WBO right there with with Abdullah Mason and Joe Cordina right there. They're going to mandate that fight. So we're going to see Abdullah Mason most likely fight Joe Cordina next. Of course, you got the WBA. I talked about it earlier with them. About the mandate Kid Austin and Lucas Body coming up soon this week. For them to fight next. Of course, Tank, he's champion in recess. You got Raymond Muratalla. He's the champion for the IBF. And let me scroll down. You got, Albert Bell, my brother from Toledo, Ohio. My brother, you already know, Ohio runs boxing shit. You feel me? Albert Bell, he got put in the situation for the title eliminator for the IBF. And of course, Lucas Body first, they was ordering him and Lucas Body, but Lucas Body declined, and now he's probably about he's about to get ordered with Kid Austin, obviously, and then they ordered him and Andy Cruz, which when I first when I was looking at the rankings, like who would Albert fight if it wasn't Lucas Body. And then I seen Andy Cruz right there. I didn't think Matchroom was going to let Andy Cruz fight Albert Bell, but they accepted, the position to fight in that situation. So we got, Albert Bell, Andy Cruz. They're going to be fighting coming up soon. No fight date announced yet on that, but that's going to be coming up for them two guys fighting for that, the opportunity to fight for that IBF strap. And don't be surprised if Raymond Muratalla, of course. Don't be surprised if Raymond Muratalla moves up to 140. Don't be surprised at that. And that fight for that IBF, title eliminator ends up being a vacant title fight. So don't be surprised at that. And that's probably a reason why Andy Cruz and Matchroom maybe took that position in doing that. You know what I mean? So of course, looking at my boy Kurt Hurd, my boy said, has Joe Cordina even fought at 135? Yeah, he's been fighting at 135 since he's been with Matchroom, because he wasn't with Matchroom before. You remember when Joe Cordina was about to fight Joe Cordina was about to fight Shakur in 2024, when Shakur signed on the Matchroom, that was going to be Shakur's first fight. And Joe Cordina was coming off fighting the guy Kakasi that I'm going to talk about with Kakasi. He's about to fight Jassa Dickens. That's the champion at 130. Around that time, Joe Cordina was at 130. He got knocked out by Kakasi and then ended up moving up to 130, where his first fight was about at 130. He moved up from 130 to 135. And his first fight at 135 was about to be with Shakur. Matchroom, they paid for Joe Cordina to get in the rankings, so it looked good. And from that perspective, on the fight with Shakur, they put him in the WBC rankings. You know what I'm saying? And you see him right now. You see him at 135. Look at him now. He the mandatory now for the WBO. You know what I'm saying? Now at 135. So yeah, so he's been putting in work up there 135 in recent time. And I expect that be the next fight. That's what they're saying right now as far as the WBO ordering Abdullah Mason and Joe Cordina. Sam Noakes. I definitely can't wait to see Sam Noakes back. I like Sam Noakes. I like what I've seen from Sam Noakes. For sure. I want to definitely mention his name. We mentioned already Williams Zepeda, Lamar Roach for the WBC. Jose Valenzuela, of course, he's a Zuffa fighter. You got Gary Russell. Gary Russell was calling out Lamar Roach. They was going back and forth on Twitter yesterday. Hopefully PBC, they got a couple of events coming up. So hopefully they get him back in action. Definitely keep him active. You got Mark Magasayo right there. He's a guy that just signed with Zuffa Boxing. I'm not hip to Shu Uzuki, but you see him in the rankings right here. He's ranked, so you see him, they're moving him in in these three sanctioned bodies right now between the WBA and the WBC and the WBO. Who else we got? Who else? Ricardo Nunez, right there. Jordan White, he been moving up there with Pro Box TV. You see him at 12 with the WBC. So you got those guys right there. And just going down to 130 real quick. Emmanuel Navarrete, of course, he just fought. He just beat Sugar Nunez for his title. And of course, he's the WBO and the IBF champion. Possibly him and Charlie Suarez next, maybe the rematch of that fight, which I think is well due for sure from what happened in that first fight. You got Ashaki Foster right here. I would love if Ashaki fought Emmanuel Navarrete next, but you got Ray Ford. They've been going back and forth. We talked about that last night. They're currently, from what Ashaki said, that they're currently negotiating. So we may get Ashaki Foster versus Ray Ford next. I would rather it be Emmanuel Navarrete, but that looks like that's the move right now for us, them guys. Jassa Dickens, of course, I mentioned him with him fighting Anthony Kakasi, that was supposed to fight Raymond Ford last year, but he had to back out because he got injured in camp. So Anthony Kakasi, he's getting the title shot next against Jassa Dickens, which is a matchroom fighter right there for 130. Gary Russell Jr. right there at 7 for the WBC at 130. What's that last fight that Gary Russell, he fought at 130? He fought at I think that fight was at 130 for Gary Russell that he fought. If y'all remember, was it 130 or 135? I want to say it was at 130. Because Gary was definitely small, but still fast with them hands though, for sure. I was definitely impressed with that performance from Gary. Who else we got at 130? That's significant name wise. A lot of parity in 130 as far as name wise too. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the names and stuff of this list right here, I mean, definitely a lot of parity with these guys. And you see Josh Padley right there, 15 right there. And you see that boy Josh. Oh, where Josh Padley? I think he in some of these other rankings too. Oh, Josh Padley in some of these other rankings. Oh, yeah, they got Josh Padley. Yeah, he number 6 right there. Josh Padley number 6 in the WBA right there. So, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, the guy that Josh Padley fought in his last fight, the guy that he fought, he lost his last fight before he fought Padley. You know what I mean? Just to add context to Padley, when some of these Shakur fans be talking about, you know, Padley winning and shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, we go ahead and kill that off the gate right there with that narrative. Angelo Leo, IBF champion, obviously, right there for the IBF. He's fighting coming up. He's supposed to be fighting Rod Salim coming up. So you're going to see them fighting coming up. Angelo Leo, Rod Salim, on a Manny Pacquiao's card, I believe. Because I think Leo is with Manny Pacquiao. Brandon Figueroa, of course, you know, Bruce Carrington, both of them guys, they faced off at an event a couple weeks ago. I forgot what event it was. It might have been the Garcia and yeah, it was. Yeah, they faced off at the Garcia and Ryan and Barrios card. You know what I'm saying? They was at that event. So they faced off. So top rank PBC, don't be surprised if you see a unification between these guys with Shushu and Brandon Figueroa. I'll say that right now. Or Bruce, Shushu, Carrington, and Rafael Espinosa. I would love to see that. You know what I'm saying? That unification. That's something that I just spoke on the channel too. That, it makes sense for Top Rank with, Bruce being WBC champion and Rafael Espinosa, for them to make a big fight and have those guys unified. Like, they under the same staple. Nick Ball coming off the loss to Brandon Figueroa. He's at number 4 in the WBA and number 3 in the WBC right there. You see Luis Neri right there at number 5, a notable name. Alan Picasso right there, of course. Got his ass whooped by Nawa anyway in recent time, and he's up at 130 now, at number 6 in the WBC right there. You see Joed Gonzalez right there, number 8 right there. A guy that Shakur fought and beat. Lorenzo Parra right there. He just beat my boy. Salute to my boy, man. My boy Elijah Pierce. He just beat him. So you see Lorenzo Parra right there, where they update that already? Damn. They move Elijah Pierce out the IBF right after Rikers. That bitch, I think. Hold on. Because that was a WBO fight. Yeah, so that was with the WBO. Hold on, let me see real quick. Scroll down. Yeah. Yeah, bro. They moved Elijah off the rankings in the WBO in the top 15. Damn. Lorenzo Parra, number 2 now in the WBO. So Lorenzo Parra coming off his knockout win with Elijah Pierce. He moves up to number 2 and takes his spot. And they move Elijah Pierce completely out of the top 15 at 126 right there. You know what I mean? So you see that right there. So that was real interesting right there. So you see the featherweight, of course, now anyway, undisputed at 122. Of course, him and Junto Nakatani, they're going to be fighting May 2nd as well. You know what I'm saying? Salute to my boy Teach, man. What's good, brother? It's my boy Sid, man. That's my nigga, man. So you got Nawa anyway fighting, coming up with Junto Nakatani May 2nd, that same day as David Benavidez and Zerto Ramirez right there. So you got that. That's a big fight coming up with, for as the 122 guys. Of course, Nawa done knocked off damn near everybody in his division. You know what I'm saying? He done packed up everybody. So it ain't really too much to talk about them guys, man. So, all right. So I wanted to go over some of the rankings, bro, and scale out some of the rankings and let y'all see some of the rankings and what's going on. And let me go to that. Let me go to. Oh yeah. Let me play that video for y'all with Eddie Hearn.
We have a group of people, and we kind of say, who's in your top 5 of dogs at the moment? Because there are that many, and like some of them are just absolute. Like, I know, like Eubank calls me a scumbag. Like honestly, I am a fucking angel compared to these people. Anyway, Keith has always been number 1 on my dog list, really. But he plays with, he's good. He's a good manager. The thing is with managers, you come in, you take a percentage, you do fuck all. All you do is you get on the phone and you have a few meetings. You never put a dime into the fighter. You never build the fighter coming through. You never take any financial risk on the show. But what you do is you turn up in a suit and go, I'm your money man, baby. Yeah, I'm going to show you the money. Yeah. And like, obviously, people think that managers are important. So, but yeah, Keith, it's not necessarily just me. It's, DAZN. I think that I don't think it would be possible to work with Keith Connolly again, if I'm honest. And listen, before this happened with Connor, we'd agreed a deal with Richardson Hitchens, and we'd not agreed, but we were making offers to Edgar Berlanga to get him back, warm-up fight, big fight against Pacheco, blah, blah, blah. But now, I think, a lot of managers, not saying Keith Connolly, will do a deal like they've done, and it'll include getting backed on all their other guys. So you will probably see Richardson and Edgar Berlanga go to Zuffa, but that's what I don't like, because actually, if I'm Edgar Berlanga and Richardson Hitchens, I'm going, well, actually, I want to speak to Eddie and see what the path is there and what's the money. But you can't, because as part of the deal over there, you've already been promised something else. Snaky shit.
So that was Eddie Hearn right there, man, which I mentioned to y'all as far as Africa, man, and Berlanga right there, where he mentioned, don't be surprised if you see Africa and Richardson Hitchens. I mean, that man, and Edgar Berlanga, both of those guys, end up being with Zuffa Boxing right there, bro. So that's oh shit. That's something that's real. No, I wanted to, to bring to y'all attention, and salute to my sister Quiqui. Make sure y'all subscribe to my sister Quiqui as well, man. She definitely live tonight. Thursday is the night, man. She live tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern time, man. So tap in with my sister, man. She be talking about a little bit of everything, man. And y'all get out of line, she gonna get y'all ass straightened out for real. For sure, you dig. So, all right, man. Let me do this. Let me share my screen real quick. So let's get into this interview real quick with Dana White. Let me pull it up real quick while I'm at it. Have a tab. So let me pull this shit up while I'm at it real quick with Dana White. And then after that, we can open the panel up real quick then. Dana White. IFL. And that boy was talking greasy in this shit too. All right. There we go. Disregard the ad, y'all.
We are gardeners.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Now, I don't care who it is. When anybody says, I'm getting into the business that I'm in, I underestimate nobody, okay? And how in the fuck are you going to underestimate me, right? If you're any of these guys, and I get it, they've got egos and they've been around and they think they know everything and nobody else knows anything. But underestimating me and my team coming into this is one of the dumbest things you can ever do. But I don't think that anybody that's run boxing for the last however many years, is looking toward the future or how to build the business. They live fight to fight off scraps. They live off scraps and they live fight to fight. It is not what I do. It's not what I do. It's not the way I run my business. And I don't know why you would, everybody's shocked now. Oh my God, we didn't think this was going to, we didn't think that was going to happen, because you all have absolutely no vision whatsoever. And you obviously completely underestimated me.
Eddie Hearn was kind of a bit annoyed about your pussy comment. He said, I interviewed him a couple of days ago, and he said that he's annoyed that it's got personal. Why has it got personal?
Oh, no, it's not personal. Listen, I like Eddie. I don't dislike Eddie, but I don't think anybody, I mean, no matter what, if you like Eddie, don't like Eddie, nobody could deny that he has been acting like a pussy for the last couple of months. Wow. It's been crazy. And to be honest with you, when I got into this and started, I wasn't going to mess with Eddie Hearn at all. And then Eddie uncharacteristically comes out and just starts going crazy and saying all this stuff. Then he starts saying stuff like, hey, I look forward to competing with him. I'm going to show him who the real, this, that, and all this other stuff. And just the way that I'm wired, I'm like, all right, Eddie, are we fighting? We're going to fight here? Okay. Let's fight.
In terms of the Conor Benn signing, is that a long-term strategy for Zuffa to kind of get these caliber of fighters? And is that the type of fighter that you want?
I want anybody that anybody might perceive could be the best or could win a world, much like the UFC, different than boxing, right? Like Brandon Glanton's fighting this weekend, right? He's 21-3 with 18 knockouts. It's a great record, right? 5 first-round knockouts, 85.
I gotta mention this too. One thing about it too is it is interesting that this man is on this platform. Like, we haven't seen Dana White on too many boxing platforms. Like, the interviews we see with Dana White is more so the MMA platforms, UFC platforms, and all of that pretty much. You know what I'm saying? It's out of the realm of boxing. So, IFL, they kind of do a little bit of both, but majority boxing. So it is different to see him on this platform. And then he's on the UK platform in particular too, you know what I'm saying, as well.
5% knockout ratio. Those are fights that we put on in the UFC. In boxing, traditionally, if there's not an O behind your record, nobody looks at you the same and doesn't think that you're impossible. I know what these guys who might have 1 or 2 or 3 losses are still capable of, and are talented guys, heavy punchers, whatever it might be. And I just want to put on great fights.
Conor Benn said in an interview that he still wants Eddie Hearn working alongside him. Do you foresee a situation where that could happen under the Zuffa banner, where Eddie would still be involved with Conor?
I don't know. I mean, that's up to Conor. Conor's a grown man and can have anybody he wants involved in his career.
Remember, Conor Benn, his manager is Keith Conley. You know what I mean? So we got to add context to that. You know what I mean? And obviously, Eddie Hearn, in that clip, he said that he don't see himself working with Keith Conley like that for real. You know what I mean? Which is that's different. You know what I mean? But he's open to working with Conor still. So I think Eddie's more so on the loop where he wants to work with Conor, but without Keith Conley. But that's not going to happen because that's Keith. That's Conor Benn's manager, Keith Conley. You know what I mean?
Fair. And the thing that I say about Eddie is, I love this kid and I this, that, and I have a great relationship with him. You're a wealthy guy, and you're going to be a wealthy guy till the day you die. Why would you be upset about a kid that you care about who has a small window of opportunity to make the most money he possibly can, making more money? And if you didn't like the fact, then match the offer. You could have matched the offer. You got plenty of money. You could have done it. And here's the thing: when you're a fight promoter, do you know what my job is? Really, my job is to sign guys that I think are the best in the world, whether they have great personalities or they're a bump on a fucking log. If they're looking at as the baddest dudes in the world. My job is to get them, match them up against other guys that we think are the best in the world, and then I have to figure out how to make enough money for them and me. That's my job.
In terms of the comments, Eddie, he said that Mark Shapiro was on an investor call, and on that investor call, Mark Shapiro said that you are the headline promoter for the event involving Tyson Fury in London and Conor Benn on the undercard. Is that true?
Looking for an easier way to get that LLC next to your business name? Say hello to Taylor Brands. Go to their site.
Well, if Mark said it, it must be true.
If you're going to be working with someone like Tyson Fury, does that mean there's a potential down the line?
That card trash, by the way, too. We showed that shit. That Tyson Fury Magmadov card, trash. High goodbyes.
Work long term with Tyson Fury? Is he someone that you're looking at?
Like, hold on, like, and my boy, man, I played a clip a couple days ago too with my boy Ezra from Brunch Boxing. Salute to my boy Ezra, man, where he literally like he literally said that they literally spent money on Conor Benn to fight Regis program for nothing. Because and especially you look at the card, it was absolutely for nothing. Like that April 11th card is trash. Like I don't see what they're doing. What was the reason behind him? Besides what? They're trying to move their market into the UK. Obviously, with them too, they're trying to get the Zuffa belt approved by the BBC as well with the UK. So, you know what I mean? Like, they're making moves with the UK with Zuffa as well, which is, y'all got to read the room with that as well.
Listen, I'm looking to work with everybody.
Average as fuck.
If you're not under contract,
average as fuck,
with somebody,
bro. Like that card, like for Netflix, like that. I said it yesterday. That card, April 11th, is not going to translate to the casual fans. You know what I mean? Now, the people in the UK, yes, of course they're going to watch it. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be there. They're going to watch it, etc. But that's not going to translate to where, you know, the US fans, you know, the casuals out here that, you know, like to watch, you know, Shakur and watch Devin and watch, you know, all these other guys. It's not going to translate to those guys. You know what I'm saying? On April 11th. You know what I mean? Us hardcore fans, yes, we're going to watch it because we watch boxing. Of course, every weekend when cards come on, we watch every cards that come on. You know what I mean? Like you got Pro Box TV this Saturday, and then you got Zuffa Boxing Sunday. We're going to be watching both cards on this weekend. You know what I mean? So April 11th, high goodbyes, trash.
And I think that you have the potential to be a great fighter, or you know, there's a big matchup out there to be made. Yeah, I'm interested.
There's been reports in the UK that you're on the verge of signing a UK broadcast deal with Sky Sports. Is there any truth to that?
I think there's a lot of rumors out there right now about a lot of things, obviously, but listen, I know I'm probably not.
Yeah, what that report is out there that. And that's another thing too. They're marketing in the UK heavy, so they're working where they're trying to have a deal with, you know, Sky Sports as well for the UK as well with Zuffa Boxing.
I'm going to give you the greatest interview you ever wanted, breaking a bunch of news, but I'm flying sort of stealth right now. You know, I'm out here doing my thing, and that's why I keep saying, like I said at the beginning of this, judge me at the end of the year by the body of work that we do this year, but we have lots of. I mean, if you think about it. We're going into our fourth fight, you know, and I think I have like 18 television deals around the world already. And we're going to continue to add on to those. Every time I do a press conference, I'll have one or two more for you guys.
Dana, I interviewed Oscar De La Hoya a couple of weeks ago at the Ryan Garcia fight.
Were you dumber after the interview was over?
I asked him, are you good for boxing? Is Zuffa good for boxing? And he said that you're terrible for boxing. What would you say to those comments that you're bad for boxing?
Well, De La Hoya thinks I'm bad for boxing.
Yeah, Teach. Originally, that was supposed to be on Queensberry card. Originally, it was supposed to be Queensberry card, but Turkey took it away from him, man. Of course, you know, him and Zuffa, man. Like I told you, Turkey, when Turkey said that he was coming to try to take over the game, he meant that shit with Zuffa. Like, you know what I mean? Him and Sella. You know, Sella and TKO. He meant that shit. He wasn't playing around that shit. I know he took it back, but he really meant that shit.
He's suing his fighters so they won't leave him. He's stopping them from making money in the short window of opportunity that they have to make money. And how am I bad for boxing when there's more money being thrown around now in the sport? And not just for the Usyks and the Tyson Furies, but from
the money that you're getting is from Saudi, though, Dana, that you're not acknowledging. You know what I'm saying? They're throwing the money around for you, brother. But he is on point as far as Oscar, as far as, you know, his situation with Vergil. And we're going to talk about that shit after this.
the top all the way to the bottom, there's more money being spread out. So how am I bad for boxing? And you know what? This guy is fucking beautiful. You know, the Oscar De La Hoya Golden Boy ship is sinking fast. Sinking fast, and this dude's talking shit all the way down. Bad for boxing. All of his fighters are leaving him, and he's suing them to try to stay.
Dana, you obviously are going to do some UK shows. I know you can't really talk about that one that we've spoke about there with Fury Makhmedov, but are there plans to do more shows in the UK this year?
You know, Jungle Gyms has everything you need for St. Paddy's Day.
That's a snap there. Damn, another one.
I began paying employees in 1988. I would handwrite.
I'm going to do shows everywhere. I'm going to do shows in the United States and not just Las Vegas. We'll travel it around. I'm going to do shows in the UK and not just London. We'll move around. I'm going to do shows in Australia. I'm going to do shows in Mexico. Yes, I am now in the boxing business, and I love taking live events to a lot of different countries and places where they normally don't get to see big events.
I interviewed Callum Walsh, and he said the difference with Zuffa is the UFC Performance Institute, where you've got guys that are all coming in with the same level. Everyone's treated in the same playing field. Do you believe that's something that separates you from everyone else, is that everyone is kind of treated the same?
Well, it's one of many different things that separates us from everybody else. There's so many, so there's a lot of mythology out there about the UFC and the money.
So, all right, man. So that was Dana White right there, bro. Like, you know, shitting on them guys. That boy on some real live cocky shit, man, on that shit. And him speaking, you know, about the Vergil shit, bro. Vergil. Gotta pull it up. This is Vergil's tweet last night, right here, where he says, you know, although the judge didn't see it our way and the fight is blocked for now, my team and I will be moving on to arbitration and to the court appeal. My time with Golden Boy is done. I am confident that my right to move on to other opportunities will be upheld. As always, I'm in the gym staying ready. Any 154 champion should do the same. It's only a matter of time. So you got Vergil Ortiz, you know, right there with this tweet right here where, you know, he letting it be known that his time is done with Golden Boy right there. And, you know, I said on the show yesterday, I think that, you know, Golden Boy, I think Vergil's probably should have, you know, like I mentioned, Golden Boy, they was able to keep Vergil locked in due to the fact that they have an event coming up March 14th. And that was the way of keeping them coming in. But they do have arbitration coming up as well. So they do have another hearing for us, you know, this situation, man. And it's just, you know, it's really nasty work, man. That's why I did my video and I said free Vergil Ortiz, man. Because, you know, Vergil Ortiz, you know, he is, to me, he seems like he's trying to push and make the fight happen. Like I said, the money and everything is already, you know, done, and the deal is done with the zone for us both guys with Boost Ennis and Vergil Ortiz. And, you know, the man Oscar De La Hoya, he been pushing for, you know, more money in the situation, man. He been pushing for more money, man. And, you know, it is, you know, it's really sad to see it in 4K, you know, Vergil Ortiz not be able to fight Boost Ennis, you know, when this is one of the biggest fights that we've been clamoring for, you know, for some time. And, No, Boots Ennis. That's why I said, Boots Ennis probably he's got to move on probably now. You got to see if you can get Josh Kelly or you can get Xander Zayas. You can get one of them up. You know what I mean? So, it's fucked up, man. And I think, and I was saying Vergil yesterday, he should try to make amends with Golden Boy and try to see if he can work something out. But Vergil's standing on this shit right now, man. And the thing is, the question with Golden Boy and the zone is, are they going to get their long-term negotiations done before time of the arbitration or the next hearing that they have, and on this next date, because that fight that they have is March 14th, that's next Saturday. You know what I mean? So like that's a question that you got to ask in particular right there. And then you got to ask the fact that with Vergil Ortiz, is he going to be able to get out of this, on the next arbitration? You know what I mean? Because, the judge didn't rule in his favor, the other day. So Vergil looked like he may be sitting out, man, this whole year, damn near is looking like, bro, with all of this legal shit going on. And it's fucked up that Oscar De La Hoya doing this shit all because he want to maximize the bag for Vergil Ortiz because he don't have faith in Vergil Ortiz and beating Boots Ennis in reality. Just like Rick Mirjan at first, he was talking all of this 6-7 figure shit, you know what I mean, for Vergil Ortiz and stuff at first too. And they don't even get along. Rick Mirjan and Oscar De La Hoya. Like, y'all gotta get the business together with this shit, bro. Like, it shouldn't take much for these guys to get this shit together, man. Stop being money hungry, stop being greedy. We know that fight with Vergil Ortiz is a tough ass task with Boots Ennis. That's definitely obviously what it is. But at the same damn time, you give us what you want. That's the biggest fight. That's Vergil's biggest bag right now, bro. He ain't fighting no fucking Earl Spence Jr., bro. You know what I mean? He ain't fighting none of the Charlo brothers, bro. It's all for him and Boots Ennis right now. He ain't pushing his position to fight Fundor for the WBC. He been interim champion for a long time, but he still ain't pushed his position for the fight, for that WBC title. Like Boots and and Vergil is the fight, man. And it leaves Boots in a fucked up situation because now he got to try to figure out what fight he gonna have next. You know what I mean? Which we showed the rankings, man, in the WBA. You know what I'm saying? It's scarce for him for as name wise. Because everybody want to see Boots' next fight be with a name. And it put this situation with Vergil put Boots in a fucked up spot because he was waiting for this fight. So now Boots, I say his thing is push for Xander. You the interim champion, go after Xander ass. That's my opinion for us, Boots Ennis. I'll be pushing for Xander, or I'll be pushing on fucking Eddie Hearn's helmet and going after fucking Josh Kelly. That's what I really would be doing. Force that man Eddie Hearn to give Josh Kelly motherfucking his little punk ass up. Like that's what should be happening in reality. It was I played the clip with Bradman Edwards earlier. That should be happening right there. Stop, hey Eddie Hearn, stop protecting them guys at 154 you got over there, man, for Boots. You got Conor Benn over there, you know what I'm saying? If he end up coming back, whatever, or motherfucker, you was protecting him for the longest at 147 from Boots. You got Josh Kelly, the champion, right now. Hey, don't protect Josh Kelly from Boots, dog. It's time, bro. Like, it's time to let that man Boots Ennis eat. That's the best fighter that you got on your fucking staple out of everybody. There shouldn't be no reason why Eddie Hearn shouldn't be getting Boots Ennis the biggest fights at 154. And he not pushing for that shit 100%. Vergil shouldn't be the least of this shit. Right after this, they should be going after Xander right now due to the fact that he is the interim for the WBA. You know what I'm saying? My boy Thrill Hill, he said, I'm reading where it says Vergil signed a 3-year deal in May of 2024. If he has to honor that deal, he may be in trouble. Hey, man, but you never know. You never know with those You never know with those contracts with Golden Boy, bro. And I said it the other day, because like even with Ryan Garcia was saying that it was one fight on the deal on his contract, and then you got Oscar De La Hoya saying that he got several fights on the deal with Golden Boy. You know what I'm saying? So like these boys, like I said, I mentioned earlier, as far as John Obertai, y'all gotta have y'all business together, man. Know what y'all fucking signing up for, man. With these contracts with these companies, man. He said, how he ranked number what? Who was you talking about, Thrill Hill, on that one? I forgot. That boy Boston Hacker, he said, oh, go for Xander, but let Devin fight magically. Devin's about to fight Rolly. What are you talking about? When you was here last night, Hacker, I don't know what the fuck what the hell? You act like you wasn't here last night. Where that shit at? Where Rolly at? Oh, where Rolly at? Hold on. Let me scroll up. Is this Rolly right here? Oh, yeah. And then you go. Rolly saying, Devin's daddy is going to be real sad on May 30th right there. You feel me? I don't know. Is this it? No, that's Manny Pacquiao. Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, Manny Pacquiao, he's going to be the lead promoter for the Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao fight. Floyd Mayweather, 3 fights in 2026. Nasty work right there, bro. Nasty fucking work. Where's that graphic at? Let me find that. And that's Floyd right there. Floyd got 3 fights. But the fight in Congo with Tyson may not be going down, though. As far as it won't be in Congo. They're going to be in a different location now, for what I'm hearing. And of course, he's fighting in Greece in June, and then he's fighting Manny Pacquiao September 19th, man. And of course, with even added context with Mayweather, real quick. Let me take this motherfucker's dumbass comment down. With Mayweather, he has to be observed by Nevada Athletic Commission, sparring wise. So for him, to get fully in for us, the fight and get sanctioned and everything. So just add the context with that boy, Mr. Mayweather, right there. Where is that at? It gotta be at the bottom of that shit. No, where the hell I put it at? Oh yeah. I forgot to show this too. Oh yeah. So interview too with Jerome Booth's older brother too, Fire Ennis. He said he believes Golden Boy Vergil lawsuit was a strategic move for Vergil to get out of the Boots fight and make it look like Vergil is not ducking. Where that's another thing too. That's another damn thing too, far as that too. Oh, that was Ja. Where did I have that tweet at? I thought I kept that tweet on here. Oh yeah, right here. Yeah, here we go. Oh yeah. Yeah, you said Rolly says he signed his part of the contract. Just speaking back for Hacker, for his reference, while he's speaking about Xander, because there's no reason to talk about Xander anymore. It's Rolly and Devin currently right now. Rolly signed his part of the contract. We're waiting on Devin Haney to sign his part of the contract. And he said, the Haneys have always been soft and full of lies, and I'm going to end y'all for good. Damn, Rolly talking crazy to this man, Devin, too. Everybody just be talking crazy to this nigga. Shit crazy, bro. The bill is like he potentially wants the zone to be a part of it. Hey, don't be surprised. You know, and PBC and the Zone, I mean, like Amazon and with PBC, they work with the Zone for us, particular fight. So, but they're not signed to anybody that's with the Zone. So, how would that work? That's my thing right there. How would that work? Like, how would that work? And let me highlight this too. Let me ask y'all about this, bro, real quick. What y'all think about this guy right here on Facebook, bro? I be running into posts on Facebook all the time from people all the time that, he's saying crazy shit right here. So, somebody said, will Roach outbox Zepeda? I'm thinking so. I said, why is that a question? Like, y'all really think Zepeda is going to beat Lamont Roach, bro? Like, bro, like, this fight is good fitted for it. Lamont Roach should easily win this fight. But his style, the way he fights, he's not like a true boxer puncher like that, for real. You know what I mean? He's a boxer, but he's not a crazy boxer, though. He fights, he likes to fight majority on the inside. So, like, this is going to be a barn burner with both these guys in reality, but Zepeda can't fucking punch. He don't got no power to really, do no damage on Lamont Roach. I don't know. You know what I mean? So, I definitely like the matchup, though. I like the matchup for us, the styles and everything. And then Lamont Roach, he beats Zepeda, then he can say, hey, Shakur, I beat Zepeda, I beat him worse than you did. You know what I mean? And, and go after Shakur. You know what I'm saying? Even though, like I mentioned, the winner of the fights that they're rumor. I gotta say rumor-wise. Tank Davis fighting Pitbull and Lamont Roach and William Zepeda on the as the co-main on that card, and signed and delivered with Lamont Roach and Tank Davis signed to fight in a rematch if they both win the both fights. So, but just like I was just saying in general, though, he could definitely had the bragging rights on that in particular. My boy T said, I like the Roach and Zepeda fight. It's competitive. I think the favorite will be Zepeda. That's interesting. Always T, she said the bad nods. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, bro. Like, yeah, I got Lamont in this one, man. I got Lamont in that one, bro. You know what I'm saying? And overall, bro, just back to Vergil real quick, man. I'm definitely curious to see what happens. They got another hearing coming up, so we're gonna know more news coming up with Vergil, and especially after this March 14th fight that's coming up for Golden Boy. That's the current last fight for the Zone with them. Far as what they had in court from the other day. So we'll see what's happening, man. Salute to everybody, man. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I see my brother Dean about to go on, so we're going to chop it up and go fuck with my boy, man. Salute to y'all, and we out of here.